right, man, ain't right.
You know what I mean?
I think it's time for you to hear the truth.
Tell the truth, man.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make.
Hey yo, they don't like my songs. Bush came to my yard, he wants to take me on. Phone the most high, I'm like, yo, it's on. Devil's in my face, Pop, don't be long.
All you need is faithful souls. Have no fear, my son, my kingdom you alone. 400 years, no knowledge of your home. Now is your chance to reclaim your throne.
Okay, Pop, yeah, no doubt. I'll buzz you back once I've taken him out. But he reckons I got weapons, what's he talking about? I don't like the way the devil's running his mouth.
Don't watch that, it's just an excuse. See, they don't like you, son, cause you tell the truth.
Hey, yo, Pop, United Nations turned up. They wanna search my yard till I them up.
Nah, son, you leave them to me. Now you deal with that portion, calling power fast. I got fire for them bad side for those who oppose me. Hurricane, tornadoes, earthquakes, you'll see.
Exodus, the devil we no like. So we left from Rome upon the star line. Sir Marcus Garvey upon my mind. So we left upon the black star line. Exodus, the devil we no like. So we left from Rome upon the star line. Sir Marcus Garvey upon my mind. So we left upon the black star line.
I'm interested in the truth, and the truth is what I will pursue.
We have to recognize who our major enemy is.
The biggest challenge before you right now is, who is the enemy?
Life is becoming increasingly miserable for everybody. But when they find out who it is that's causing the trouble.
I will tell you what the mainstream media will not tell you.
That the Jewish people control the media.
People need to get out of denial very quickly, because your children are being poisoned, you're being poisoned, children are being indoctrinated and programmed and turned into software programs at school. You're being poisoned in the air, you've been poisoned from the sky, poisoned in your food, poisoned in your water, poisoned by vaccine. How bad does it have to get before people in vast numbers realize that the world ain't like they thought it was?
I'm talking to you.
The principle and the idea was divide and rule, divide and conquer.
$1 billion a week spent on war. 15 million Americans are homeless in the streets. We can build Iraq and Afghanistan, but leave you with nothing.
You have to come together. There has to be a foundation of unity before you to get anywhere, especially if you're black in this country.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing else.
I want you to hear me. Speak the truth regardless of circumstance and stand up on the truth from the cradle to the grave.
Devils on some dirty way. Yo, the murder was the case they gave. And it was just the other day when they stepped out the caucus man in cage. The murder's undercover blood. But guess what? They slipped up. The people are starting to wake up, and as soon as we get together, they ain't here to apologize for the outcry while we're on the genocide. Till today, from the time we arrived, Mother Africa is still dripping blood from her eyes. Ain't tiptoeing around my words. I'ma tell the truth till it hurts. And I'ma keep spreading love to the peace. But right now, I'ma drop the truth on the verse. And I'ma dismiss unrighteousness. My backside, they can kiss, they can't handle this. I got a long list of brains with power and fists who insist government's taking a piss.
Exodus, the devil we no like. So we left from Rome upon the star line. Sir Marcus Garvey upon my mind. So we left upon the black star line. Exodus, the devil we no like. So we left from Rome upon the star line. Sir Marcus Garvey upon my mind. So we left upon the black star line.
Come, let me bust the things for all you hustling. I might scuff your Tims how I'm busting in the fight. I'm struggling on some other thing. Head wrap and skull cap, I call my brother king. Wagwanin, and you know that. It's like a prison wing, how we keep the show pack. I don't hold back. Radio, play my whole track. Most cats listen close as phone taps. There's no black in the Union Jack. Britain flows pierce ears like guns with studs in them. Count bars like you're stuck in prison. Count scars on a body that's slug-ridden. It's the fusion of the ease, brews and ganja, giving these youths delusions of grandeur. And only a few who've left to have a stretch on the psychiatric wing return to the manor. I'm the one that rap for them people suffering. Try function in a world that's got no love for them. Enough of them would rather vote for Big Brother than vote for them hypocrites that's in the government. them then. It's Emmanuel and Brother Ben.
Yeah. Exodus the
Felt it your entire life. If there's something wrong with the world, you don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind.
You think the US don't have weapons of mass destruction?
You think it's gonna work? It's a general idea. With who? I'm working on it.
Greetings, Jumbo Tech Peace Salamo. This is Fairity Radio. My name is Sayshara. I'm here for the next couple of hours and beyond. And let me know where I'm sounding and I'm tuning in. Telephone numbers are 07305 541 7668. Okay, so I want to say, before I say anything further, I want to say, right, William, that you're in the best of health, best of spirit, and life is definitely treating you well. And I want to definitely big up all those people out there that's been tuning into Sister Ebony for the last couple of hours, keeping you busy and in good company. I want to also big up Freestar, and yeah, I think like we're going to continue to talk about this whole thing to do with this shutdown situation that I think a lot of us are not prepared for or haven't been prepared for. And yeah, it's kind of a situation that I think we have to really question a lot of things around it. Now, there's so much things going on. We shouldn't forget that life goes on for many people out there, and I would say that the situation that we're in, to do with this COVID-19 pandemic, and whether or not we look at this whole thing the way that mainstream media is looking at things. Are we looking at things alternatively? Okay, because one of the things that I think that seems to be happening really is really kind of like a one-way kind of road situation, where you're only getting the information from the mainstream government potentially, okay? And maybe, yeah, we can trust our governments and we tend to rely on them to give us the best information around how we need to protect ourselves, how we need to work together, how we need to socialise and things like that. And yeah, we do need to protect ourselves under these kinds of conditions. But I think, as I said last week, new information is going to be coming out more and more as time goes by, and you're going to see people starting to question things from different angles. I always say to you that, you know, you've got to read into things from your own perspective and not just rely on one source to give you information. And I think that at the time we're in now, with the information age and the availability to access information via your internet sources, engines, social media, whatever social tools that you're using, okay, you can always source information right there. I think that majority of people, generally speaking, is going to go along with what's going on out there. Now, my perspective is I'm looking at things from different degrees, dimensions and angles, okay? I'm looking at different things there. I'm not just looking at what the mainstream government's given us. And, you know, I can talk about the governments, different governments around the globe, and their history and their record, and the sort of things that they've been practicing, or the things that they've been doing, or the programs they're on, or the projects they're on, or wherever they're on, okay? We have to be able to not just look at things on the surface, but just go below the surface to look beyond what's been given to us, all right? And so, yes, there's dozens of conspiracy theories out there, and rightly so. And I think if anybody wants to give us their theories around how they see this situation, how would they define it? How would you interpret it? How would you explain away what is actually happening? Because I don't think a lot of people know what's actually going on. They're just picking up bits and pieces here and there. But then, you know, we've got to find a way collectively, and I'm interested in your participation. More importantly, I want you to join in with me, or we join in together, where we look at the information together, we share the information together, and basically we find ways to resolve these questions and find a way to answer it. Maybe we won't answer them the way that we need to answer them because of time. We haven't got a lot of time. I've only got less than a 3-hour slot. So I'm not going to be able to cover everything that's actually going on because there's so much things that we need to be looking at. And I'm going to give you as much information as I possibly can to get you to think. It's not about the gloom and doom, even though, unfortunately, we're in a situation where it's gloom and doom. I want you to give us any knowledge or any information, anything that you've seen or you've been aware of, or even people have spoken to you about around how this thing is really happening. Give us what's going on out there. Please do, because what I see out there is total devastation. This whole shutdown, it just shows to me that, you know, a lot of people are gonna be kind of struggling and dealing with this whole thing. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, dealing with this whole thing around, you know, how do we, on a day-to-day basis now, how do we need to look at ourselves? What things do we need to do? And obviously, I think, again, like I said, we could talk about the conspiracy theories, we could talk about the gloom and doom, we could talk about the effects. Last week I talked about what are the social and economic consequences, okay, short term to long term, and why it's important that we need to look at that. But I also want to be able to look at what is the aftermath. I mean, we live in the aftermath right now, yeah? So this is the short-term aftermath. This is what it is right now. It's total shutdown and lockdown. What does that mean? What does that do for us? How is that really working for us? I would have said, most people would say, well, look, it's kind of, you know, you could do this thing for a couple of days, maybe for a couple of weeks, but, you know, how far is this really going to go? All right? And generally speaking, most of us are indoctrinated. We want to work, we want to get money, we want to pay our bills. We want to live a normal life generally. We want to go out. We want to go and socialize. We want to go and see a friend, family. You want to travel. You want to go across the waters. You want to go and visit places you want to see. You know, there's things that you want to do, right? But now we're in a situation where there's nowhere to go. There's no point in going anywhere because there's nowhere to go anywhere to do anything, right? So, you know, the whole place has become stagnant. It's like a zombie town, cities, villages. There's a silent, eerie kind of atmosphere that is definitely unprecedented, without any question or doubt, that what we're experiencing right now it's a strange, a new phenomenon for all the generations across the board that are here right now on this planet Earth. Okay, so we're all affected by it. Some people more than others, obviously depending on how our resources are to our availability, because now it's all about, how long is this going to last? Have I got enough things to cope with right now? The coping mechanism comes into play right now. Do you get what I'm saying? The psychological aspect comes into play. The emotional aspects come into play. And, the fear factor, the hysteria, the panic, the pandemonium, and, the anxiety, the stress, you might feel depressed. You know what I'm saying? All these things are coming. In fact, all this stuff around just even talking about coronavirus makes you sick, because you're just sick of it now. You've been hearing it for the last how many weeks now, every single day. It's all about that and nothing else. So it's enough to drive any sane person crazy. Do you get what I'm saying? But then what we got to do, we've got to think about this and just kind of take a breath. Take a breath, take a pause for a second. Let's meditate and think about what's the most important things that we need to be thinking about. Obviously, your health is 100% one of the most important things to think about and to focus on, okay? And to combat anything, your body is a self-healing mechanism, okay? That's self-repairing. Just providing you know how to holistically eat the foods, eat the right proper foods. When I was talking about the good healthy foods, such as fruits, vegetables, plants, seeds, roots, mainly whole grain foods and, whole grain substances or what you call natural herbs. And all the natural things you can think of that you can imagine, okay, the real good natural foods that's going to give you the nutrients, basically it's going to give you the pump up your energy, basically, okay, and rejuvenate your body. And obviously you got to think about cleansing your body as well, because a lot of the foods that you eat, sometimes you have to cleanse it. You have to be able to get rid of a lot of the toxins in your body. So you got to think about cleansing your body, detoxing and things like that. Okay, all these things help. Taking bitters, your bitters and your roots, all these natural drinks, all these medicinal drinks. That's all about healing, or basically building your body up, building your immune system up. So you'll be able to counter a lot of different things. Just basically looking after yourself. Also thinking about keeping yourself fit. So keeping yourself fit mentally and physically. That important that is, because I'm sure not everybody's used to just sitting down at home doing nothing, not able to be active like you used to being active. You got to find a way to motivate yourself, really motivate yourself, or even find ways, group up together to be able to find ways to motivate each other. So the most important thing is your mind, your body, your health, your foods, your soul, taking control, right, of yourself as an individual, and then practicing actually generating that energy, radiating that energy to other people around you. That these are the things that we need to. So really, we've got to think about how we need to readjust and sort of readapt the life that we live in now, because really they put us in a shock mode. And I think it's wrong, and I think we're going to question some of the decisions that governments around the world are taking, and who gives them the presidents to be able to take these kind of drastic, extreme, highly extreme measures to shut down the whole planet Earth, right? So I'm just starting off to give you a few things to think about in terms of how we need to readjust accordingly to how the system has put us in a shock state, okay, where we're going to have to quickly adjust to our lives and the way we've been indoctrinated into our lives, okay, that, all of a sudden they expect us to just turn off, just like a light switch, just like that. We just got to stop doing what we're supposed to be doing, things that we've been doing for years, for decades, some of us, right? Okay, and, you know, that's the social aspects of how we need to look at ourselves. And there's so many aspects to that where psychologically a lot of people is going to be affected. I think that's the main thing that a lot of people is going to be suffering from, the psychological effects. And it's going to be coming from you at different angles and in different places that you're probably not familiar with, because a lot of people's maybe not used to being pressured or stressed or, you know, being shut down or not able to feel like they're isolated, feel like you've been contained, feel like you've been pigeoned, feel like you're a prisoner in your own home, in your own environment, in your own communities. So really, is the actions that the government is taking really that necessary? Is it really called for? And I think the way I'm looking at it, if we really, really want to look at this thing to get some answers, I think that you have to go into studying the science of what they're talking about and really get into the whole thing around, are they giving us some sort of spin? Are the systems spinning us? Are they playing us like a record? And again, like I said last week, who or what has caused the problem? Who is responsible? Whether it's an accident or it's deliberate, it's a man-made disaster, right? And no one's really talking about that because it sort of negates anybody from being responsible for the actions that's been taken. So whether they want to say, oh, it comes from these wet markets where they're selling wild foods in places like China, markets where they're selling wild animals, untold different wild animals, and basically those wild animals basically are contaminated because they're together, and the contamination can cause whatever virus that's been put out there. So that's one version, you know, given version. Government version's giving us that. They're saying that it's more than likely it's coming from bats, or they're saying that there's a group of people in China, in some province there, some town or villages or in some parts of the provinces, okay, they're eating bat soup. And basically that has caused them to contaminate their body. And from that, they started to spread the virus from there, right? And that's, you know, one of the versions. The other version is that it's a bioengineering chemical attack. It's a terrorist attack from either America, or it's coming from America, right? Or that the other version is that it actually happened in one of those virology institutions there. There's one in Wuhan, right, not too far from the market, where they said, which is the epicenter of where it actually started. There's as you know, there's a what you call WIV, the Wuhan Institution of Virology, a university that actually coincidentally are studying and researching in diseases and all manners of things, right? So that's a big coincidence. And then there's another one. There's another institution that studies diseases and viruses and things like that. Okay, 300 kilometers away from the epicenter of where they said initially it happened. And we still no one really knows or pinpoint exactly what's happened. No one's pinpoint, no one's even bothered about that no more. Do you get what I'm saying? But really thinking about it, these things should have been prevented before they could have happened. I mean, to me, the way I'm looking at this whole system, we're supposed to get rid of biological weapons or any chemical weapons anyway. That's for for the purpose of use for mass weapons or destruction. Is these weapons are made because it's designed for warfare. That's what it's. Well, a lot of this technology and a lot of these things to do with science is designed for warfare. It's that's where it actually starts off. A lot of these weapons of mass destruction, and you think about how the military weaponry that's become so advanced now. A lot of people don't understand what's really going on. They don't understand. They ain't got a clue the weaponry that's out there now. But just off the top of my head, every list of weapons that you can think, they've weaponized. And I've spoke about that. The biological weapons, the chemical weapons, the diseases weapons, the radiation weapons, the frequency weapons, the weather weapons. Poisons have been around for hundreds of years in war. Okay? Toxins, agents, and all kind of scientific and technological weapons, okay, that are more dangerous than at any point in history when it comes to war weapons. So we're living in highly dangerous times because there's so many weapons out there now that, you know, it's no wonder that some of these weapons, they leak out, or somehow they're going to cause a disaster or catastrophe or something. It's going to happen, isn't it? Because there's so much weapons around. So much of these weapons are mass destruction. No matter what, it's not about bombs no more or guns. There's other weapons out there. And some people have termed it quiet weapons for quiet wars. Because this is the 21st century now. And they started using a lot of these quiet weapons in the last few decades. Right? We've got drones now going around, little planes with all kinds of weaponry on board now. Okay, so you know what I'm saying is that to prevent these things from happening, really the grassroots people, the common law people, need to hold governments around the globe to account for all of their wrongdoings or the things that they shouldn't be doing that could affect the mass populous people in time to come. And this could have been could have been forewarned. I'm sure the system would have calculated that there's possibility that there could be a virus pandemic or disease pandemic. I'm sure they calculated this. So I'm sure they would have been prepared for it. Most top level governments would have been prepared for this. And it's surprising that we're here in the UK, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. I'm going to big up everybody here in this country and across the globe, right? That we all have a right to be safe and to be protected. But at the same time, we need to know if our governments are abusing their power of position and their authority of law. Are they really in the position to tell us that it's justified to shut down this whole economic social system, which is a paralysis, is a situation where we become docile, where we're not able to counteract or challenge the authority and the way that information is presented to us, or the information they're giving to us, whether it's true or factual, or whether there's flaws or errors to what they're saying, or flaws and errors to certain things that they're doing. I think there should be an independent group of common law people to be able to challenge any major decision that could affect the whole population. In other words, I feel that people have the right to be consulted when it comes to making serious decisions, and it shouldn't be just left up to just a group of conservative members. And I think it's extraordinary that we got opposition parties in the British parliamentary system, and they don't seem like they're very challenging, or they're very good at questioning, or how can I put it, investigating or examining things from their own perspective, and say, well, you know, we got these findings, we got this report, this is what we're saying. They're just following, and that's all we're doing. Everybody's just following what the Pied Piper's saying. Really, that's all we're doing, isn't it? Yeah? So they could come out with anything, regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter what it is. As long as they're saying it's a threat to our lives and we're all going to be affected, we should just assume the position and stay in our little boxes, our little homes, or wherever it is, or, you know, wherever where we are, because as soon as, it doesn't matter where you are, your home becomes smaller and smaller the longer you begin to stay in there, stay in your home. It doesn't matter how big your house is. It's fantastic. You might have a big mansion, you know what I'm saying? But if you're just locked up in there by yourself and all of that stuff, okay, you're not able to go out, you're not able to do anything. And maybe some people like that lifestyle. But I think that it's very worrying and troubling that these governments are not prepared for this situation. And maybe they're saying, oh, well, it was unexpected. You know, why would we prepare ourselves for any pandemic based on anything? Viruses, diseases, or terrorism, or whatever. So, again, we have to look at governments and even organizations that position themselves as governments, like the United Nations. The United Nations seems to be like the beast, the head of the beast, or one of the heads of the beast. And basically all the other organizations, institutions that's affiliated with it, the subsidiary organization, institution, are the legs and the arms, the wings of this beast. And that's the way I'm looking at the United Nations, because you got to look at what do they represent, what is their aim, goals and objective, what is their target. And it's the same thing that comes out with this, because they're the ones that are setting the precedents for all of this under the guise of the auspices of the WHO, World Health Organization. Who gave them a mandate? Who gave them the mandate to be the cult leaders of the world in terms of health and the medical industry, and controlling and putting in laws and policies to guide people around health and the medical industry? Who gave them the mandate? Who made them the gods on this planet Earth that they can overrule all other governments, organizations and institutions and establishments? They can overrule, override, overrun, bulldoze over. And that's not their premise. That wasn't their original premise. But the United Nations has become bigger and bigger and more powerful and more powerful. And now they're unstoppable. And now they can just tell people that we're going to shut the whole world down. And because every government, 100 and how many governments, which have signed up to the United Nations, I think it's 171, or 73, I can't remember, but it's in 170, practically all the governments in around. There's a few that haven't joined the United Nations for whatever reasons, but most of the countries have joined up the United Nations on a mandate. What is the mandate? Why have all these countries joined up together? And since the time they've joined up, okay, how has this world really developed? How is this system developed? How have we improved on our lives and our conditions and the quality of our life? Do they really say what they're saying on the label when you read what they're about? Or are they a sinister cult group that's a front for the ruling class's elite to be able to use the United Nations as a tool, as a component, as a ingredient to be able to manipulate the whole system, the whole planet Earth? Can you imagine the amount of power that these people have? And now they put us in a situation where we're powerless. We have no control. Can you imagine? They're in the awe. They feel like this is the best situation for them, where it's easy for them to control people because everybody's on lockdown and in fear. And fear is what? False evidence appearing real. And we have groups, organizations, big organizations, the movers and shakers I'm talking about, the real movers and shakers, the alphabet gang, positioning themselves or reposition themselves, thinking about the opportunities that's available to them and what are the things that they're going to be rolling out. So what is the end game? Does anybody know? Because what's going to be happening? We've been locked down for how long? We've forgotten how long we've been locked down, because we've been locked down, it seems like forever. No one's keeping a check of the time now, because the time is going slow now. It stands still, becomes stagnant. You imagine no money's flowing now, innit? No money circulating. You go out there, it's like a ghost town, right? All the business, anything that you want to do, the things that you plan to do, whether it's work-wise, whether it's business-wise, whether it's socializing-wise, whether it's having a vacation on a holiday, all those plans, every plan, organization, institutions, whatever you're doing out there, what groups you're doing out there, everything's been put on the back burner, practically. There isn't no way to be able to function. How are you going to function? How are you going to be able to do anything? You're not allowed to do anything. They're making laws. The laws that they're making up as well. Let's look at some of the laws. Now, I've got some articles that I definitely need to look at. I want to go through. Like I said, if anybody's got any theories that they want to push out there, we're not holding you back. We're not going to put no bars in you. I think it's all about freedom of expression in the best way possible. We're about peace, love and harmony. We're not about hurting, killing, maiming, robbing, raping anybody around here. And there's a lot of stuff to do with these laws, okay, that we maybe people might think, oh, we shouldn't be concerned about that, right? But I think we should be, because this gives governments, I mean, if they get away with this, let's say, for instance, right, I thought about this, right, I'm just spinning this on you now, yeah? Just imagine that this thing started, they said initially it started in Wuhan, China, a province called Wuhan. Nobody knows the real truth, okay? No one's saying what it is, okay? But let's say I'm putting this story out here. Let's say the story started off as a rumor, as a Chinese whisper. And then it escalated into the endemic. And then people saw that as an opportunity to say, well, yeah, well, it's an endemic, so this is a good opportunity to exploit it. Let's turn it into a pandemic. Right? Now, is it a pandemic? This question I'm pointing to you once again. And the telephone numbers, anytime you want to phone in or text in, you're welcome. on 073 054 17668. My name is Sayshara. I'm here from the hours of 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. as per usual. And we're going to be looking at, after this short break, laws, emergency laws around this.
Sayshara. Radiating, permeating, and emanating through speech and action. In full gear, automatic traction, exposing the illusions, the lies, and all of the distractions. You've just entered the Sayshara zone.
Yeah, Sayshara here. 073 054 17668. So here we are in South London, England, the UQ, and Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Evaluating our situation here and the aftermath. I'm asking the question, what is the aftermath that we're presently facing right now? And we're looking at it. And at the moment, just be real, it doesn't look too good. It looks really bleak. It is gloom and doom, right? But I'm not here to actually put into your psyche that we should feel the gloom and doom. No. We need to raise our heads and our spirits to even a higher level of thinking and being. We need to be strengthening ourselves physically and mentally and spiritually and coaching and whatever wise. Okay. This is an opportunity to be able to do these things that generally we don't do. All right. So let's look at these emergency laws, some of them. Okay. And maybe you can remind me. So some of them things are really draconian laws. Some of them are really extreme. And first of all, they're saying people suspected of being infected with COVID-19 could be held up to 6 weeks under new powers being proposed by the government. Patients will be initially detained for 14 days, but that can be extended if doctors still have concerns. Now, recently Boris Johnson came out and said he tested positive for having the coronavirus or COVID-19. Now, all these things are questionable. I think they said some secretary, blah, blah. Then they said, I think before that, they said Prince Charles of the monarchy of England. They said that he got a dose as well. So it's really, really interesting that, let me see if I can get this call and come back to you. Hold on. Okay, 30 Radio. Sorry, I apologise for that.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm fine. Let me turn you up. Hold on.
Jumbo. Can you hear me?
Yeah, Jumbo.
Hi, brother. It's Makwan here.
Makwan, go through, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm listening in. Listen, so how are you feeling about this, the first week of quarantine?
Is it the first week? I've lost count of the days. I've stopped counting the days. So I don't know. It feels like weeks already. Be honest with you.
It does feel like that. And a lot of people are quite happy to be staying in their houses.
Not me.
Yeah, obviously not me also, but it seems like things are kind of developing in terms of how long they're planning to keep us in our houses. Now, I've been hearing today that they're saying that they might extend the quarantine from 3 weeks to 3 months.
Yeah.
Because of so-called cases that came along. It's been obviously spiking. They're saying it's an extra 200 people have died today.
In this country?
In this country, yeah. It seems to be crazy. I mean, don't know how we got to this. I mean, do you believe the numbers?
Well, obviously, just what I'm saying to you, yeah, and I hear there's a lot of people out there. If listening to what we're talking about, they would want to shut you down or put you down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the reality is that we got to question everything, it's regardless of what anybody wants to say. I don't really.
That's right.
I'm not of the mind where I can't think for myself, or we shouldn't be able to think for ourselves. Okay, other than what we've been told.
That's right. We allow the government to think for us.
Yeah. So we're not saying that we won't take what the government's saying on board. Of course, we're going to take everything what the government's on board saying, because they're the ones that's in control.
Some of the things.
No, what I'm saying is, generally speaking, yeah, because they're the ones in control. That's why it's important to be able to hold governments to account, because they control our lives.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm only saying it to be fair. There are some good politicians out there. Not all people of the members of the government are bad. It's just that you got a few that are make it bad for the rest of the group. It's a class structure, isn't it? Right?
Yeah, it is a class structure.
Right.
And now we've been hearing this week that Boris Johnson just contracted COVID-19.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That's a bit strange.
Yeah, and I think we should look at that as a positive, really, thinking about it.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, because it sounds like because they are giving us mixed messages. Okay, the messages are not very clever. They're very mixed and confusing and conflicting. Even from Boris Johnson's own mouth and actions, you can tell he hasn't followed the script to the letter or to the T. You know what I'm saying? There's bits of it that he never folled, or he never got the script.
You're saying he doesn't follow the script. I'm sure he does follow the script.
Yeah, but I think that if he's saying, for example, that he tested positive, right, for the coronavirus, COVID-19 virus.
But he said that he's got mild symptoms.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You could have mild symptoms for coronavirus.
Yeah, but the thing is that we got to look at what they're saying to us, right, and see if we can read between what they're saying, and see, because they make mistakes just like everybody else, right? They may try to make out that they're following the script to the letter, but they still make a mistake. They make a wrong line. They might say the wrong lines or say the wrong words or make the wrong actions. Now, what Boris Johnson is doing is wrong. It makes no sense whatsoever, because he's saying the message that he's saying to me. He's in his 50s, right? Yeah.
Oh, he looks older than that.
He's probably looking older than that, right? But
he looks like in his 70s.
Yeah, but generally in that business, you do look older than you. You know what I mean? So it's a stressful job, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. But no, he's in his 50s. Okay. I think that people that's in their 50s to 60s are, according to what they're saying, they're more vulnerable, just as vulnerable, right? But if just look at it now, they're saying, oh, you can get the virus, it could be mild, like you just said, but you can recover. So then,
okay,
why are we worried then? If he's saying that,
if that is the case, then why is he shutting down the whole of?
Exactly. Why are we worried? Why, if you got it?
So if it's such a mild
right,
virus.
All right. Yeah. He's saying, so he's blase. Well, I'm going to self-contain just in case. Blah blah blah. Right. So then, is it that contagious? Is it all right? It might be contagious. That's why he's staying up. Is it that dangerous? Huh?
He wasn't coughing, was he?
He wasn't
coughing.
No,
it wasn't coughing or anything.
So you know what I mean? It's obviously unclear what symptoms he did have, or even what test that he had, or what was the test. Because to me, I don't think I've been looking at the testing equipment, and I want to, you know what I'm saying? They got these testing equipment. I think recently they said that they're going to bring in about 3.5 million testing equipment. I tried to find out where did they get them testing equipment and whether them testing equipment are adequate or sufficient or efficient enough, right?
Are we getting them from China?
Well, yeah. There's a few sources. There is a few sources. China is one of them. I think I was reading about Spain. I think Spain rejected some of the testing kit from China because they're saying that it wasn't accurate.
It doesn't work.
They said didn't work.
So it misdiagnosed several people.
Right. So what I'm saying is, so going back to Boris Johnson and the mixed message that he's sending, remember now, they're saying all kinds of things. They're broadening out this thing. They're just widening it out every day as they go along. All kinds of symptoms. Every type of symptom you can think of, they're just adding on to it. Yeah, you can get that.
Right.
1 minute they're saying, "Oh, you can't get it," but you might not have symptoms. It might not show on you, right? But you can still have it.
Yeah.
So I say that you can still have it unless they tested it for you. Unless they tested it to confirm that you got it. But he's got it. Boris Johnson's got it. He's tested that he's got it. And then they said it was a mild one. How do they know it's a mild one? How do they know it's a mild one? How can they how did they differentiate? How do they know he's not going to drop down in a month's time?
That's right.
Right? Because
That's right. You know why? Because I believe he hasn't got it anyway.
Right.
You know
right. So he's acting.
I suspect he hasn't got it. So he's acting.
And you see,
the reason why he's acting, in my opinion, to get people to be more sympathetic to him, and also it'll encourage them to stay in their house much longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically,
yeah. Yeah. Go on.
No, I agree with. Carry on. I think you're going somewhere with that. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's my opinion. So obviously, people will be more sympathetic with him, especially if he's contacted COVID-19.
Yeah.
And in the same time, they can bring out more draconian laws.
Yeah.
To keep you in your house, and also even stopping you from actually going out altogether. And if you do go out, maybe they might just limit you to like one exercise a day and go back home.
Just stop there because our advert's coming in about 1 second.
For Africans, it's not healthy for us to stay here all winter. That's a real problem for us because we need intense sunlight all of the time. And the darker you are, the more vulnerable you are by staying in dim areas of the country and not getting adequate exposure. So I have found ever since I healed myself of cancer in '86 that I cannot stay here through the winter. I actually feel the strain and I feel the dipping into my reserves of energy. So I just go to the tropics where I was indigenously born and created to be and get sunlight.
Original. 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 Original.
Right, it's okay, Mac One. You ready to go?
How you doing, brother? Yeah, respect. Okay, we're back, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously they need the excuse to keep us in our homes.
Yeah.
So for him to be, not only him that allegedly contracted it, it's also the cabinet members as well.
Yeah.
So it sounds, obviously to the British public that, everyone's in it together,
Yeah. And that you're right, and that will give people a kind of like a sense of feeling that if he can get it, then
anybody can.
Then anybody can. So maybe we should just go along with it.
That's right. That's right. And that's the thing is, it's actually falling into their plan.
Yeah.
Because we're actually consenting to their draconian laws ourselves.
Yeah.
Because now a lot of us are going to demand for us to be staying in the houses much longer.
Yeah.
And a lot of our civil liberties to be taken away from us.
Yeah, we're compliant, right?
They're actually complying, yes, and that's what they need. That's how these satanic people work.
Yeah. So we're going to use the language that we know. Obey. One of the words I think that we need to look at is obey and command.
Right.
Right? Because I feel that no one can't do nothing unless they've been given instructions, and the instructions that you've been given, you're going to have to obey them. That's why I was going to talk about the law, the different types of law that they're bringing in. I think one of them that we heard was that they can come into your house if they suspect you have the coronavirus, COVID-19.
Absolutely, because I've been seeing a few disturbing videos that's coming out of a certain individual that got basically detained by the police, and then some people in the block of flats was, actually saw some people in hazmat suits put in letters through their letterbox stating that they died, that the person died.
Yeah.
So they've already started with this. It's going around, it's circling around social media. I'm sure they will soon, obviously, pull it off the social media. But that's probably is the agenda. Remember, they've got all these makeshift hospitals now that they're building all over London and the UK.
Right.
Okay. That probably comes in line with what they were saying in the media previously, that they're looking to detain anyone that's got the COVID-19 without, just on the hunch or the suspicion that you've got it.
Yeah.
And also, if they were to take you, they take you to quarantine to an undisclosed place.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a concentration camp.
Yeah.
Of sorts. And that's very worrying. That's very worrying.
I think there's a lot of things that's worrying because, like I said, that it's not right. I think people's got a right to have a certain amount of control of their lives, where we shouldn't have governments, because governments all around the world, believe it or not, this government and there's other governments, okay, have become more and more like dictators, right? It's an opportunity for them to be able to dictate and manipulate. It's an open opportunity, right?
Yeah, but to achieve that, they need the masses to consent. Okay, and you're now seeing that people are actually consenting to being locked up in their houses.
Yes,
that's the start. That's the start that they need, brother.
Yeah, and you see what you're saying there, because to me the whole thing is a psychological operation.
Absolutely.
Experimentation, right?
Absolutely.
They're experimenting this stuff, okay? They're getting information. They're going to input that information into data. Then they're going to use that data against their own people.
Yes, yeah. It's a war. You see, it's a war against the people.
Yeah, but then
this is what it's all about.
A lot of people are not going to see that, though.
No, they're going to think that their governments are protecting them.
Yeah. Right.
And the only problem is they're going to realise that they're not protecting them when it's too late.
I think this government's shafting their own people.
Yeah,
hook, line, and sinker.
They don't really care because they have a goal and an agenda.
Yeah. Again, like I said, we have to look at the aftermath, the after effects. Okay. Now the laws. I was just talking about the laws. Okay, some of these laws.
Yeah.
They've got a 329-page bill, which they covered to do with this whole coronavirus emergency situation. So they're saying officials will be able to suspend all planes and ships. Have they stopped the ships and planes in this country?
Really?
I know. I was wondering, have they done it? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I don't think they've. I'm not sure if they've done it.
Have they stopped the what?
The planes or the ships coming into this country.
The planes and the ships. No, because basically I went to the airport yesterday just to pick up a friend of mine. So there's still planes coming.
Doesn't really make
back
sense
and
to
forth.
me.
So yeah, I haven't really seen. I mean, obviously there's less travel now than before, but there's still. I mean, obviously for essential travel, you know, it's still happening. Yeah, trains are still running as well, reduced rate. The UK and also, you know, Crossrail. It's still happening.
Yeah.
I mean, London's not completely locked down, is it? I mean, you could still go out, you could still shop, you could still go out for a run and so forth. But obviously, in terms of, you know, majority of shops, that's closed. Yeah. You know, apart from your, you know, supermarkets, petrol stations, and places like that, you know, which is of need, yeah. But you know, this government, they want to go further. You know, they want to completely, you know, shut down everything. Maybe also bring in like draconian fines, like what's happening in Italy and France, where if you go out without a valid reason,
well, it's up to £1,000.
Then you'll get £1,000, and
yeah. It says it's up to the super laws give them power to order them not to attend work or to stay in isolation or ban them from travelling, and they will face a £1,000 fine if they don't comply. Right?
Absolutely.
But before they said £30. Do you remember?
Yeah, they said it's £30. Yeah, of course, yeah.
But then it's gone up to 1,000 now. So
really,
yeah, it's gone up to 1,000. So they're saying, but I don't know. Maybe it's from 30 to 1,000. I don't know, depending on the.
So we're now consenting to a prison planet, basically.
Yeah.
Where you have to basically have a note of where you're going, and you should explain to the authorities where you're going, and people are consenting to that. So you're completely losing your civil rights.
Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Okay. A lot of these rights have been given, they've taken away as time's chipped away from time.
Yeah, but now it's much more aggressive. And also they're saying that this can be in place up to 2 years.
Yeah, that's right. They said it can switch on and off if and when needed for up to 2 years, right?
Wow.
This is the problem I have with the British law, is that they're bringing laws to deal with certain situations or events and stuff like that. And then the event goes or the situation goes, right?
Yeah.
But they still keep these laws in place.
Yeah. But the thing about it is there's no opposition to it now, because obviously if you look at the Tory party, they basically, you know, had a landslide the last election. So because of that now, they can pass anything through without any, you know, without anybody, you know, objecting to it. So, you know, every week they're going to come up with different draconian laws, you know what I mean, to stop people from living their lives. And a lot of us are consenting to it. And that's the problem. Because they know that majority are sheep and just follow and can't think for themselves. I need Big Brother, I need government to control them. And that's the problem, because that's going to be a detriment to them.
You see what you said about the paperwork, okay? That's what's happening in France and Italy at the present moment now. It's funny because only recently in France there was a mass demonstration with the yellow vests.
Yeah,
demonstration just there, and there was a mass demonstration in Hong Kong. Lots of things going on in different places now. All that stuff is all in the back burner now, I would imagine.
Yeah, but in Hong Kong, you know, actually in China now, even in Wuhan itself, they've now been released from lockdown. Okay, and there's a flood of protests.
Is it?
All over China now. Yeah.
Right.
You can go on Twitter now and Facebook.
So what are they protesting about?
They're protesting against the government, about workers' rights.
Yeah.
Also the virus as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are actually rebelling right now. And they need to do that. I mean, that's the only way we are going to be free as people. If we wake up and protest against these evil people that control our governments and elites. But the only problem with over here is that we're not really that revolutionary, are we, in terms of protesting and stuff like that, unless it affects our bank balance. Now, if it affects the banks, if you can't take money out of your bank, maybe you might see a different reaction in people, which I can see happen in the future. I can see there's going to be, when it comes to actually taking money out of your account, it's going to be like some kind of rationing.
Well,
that happened in Greece and stuff.
It's funny that you mentioned that because apparently there's been a, I don't know what you call it, a kind of scare where people have drawn money out of their accounts.
I don't blame them.
Yeah, no, I
don't blame them.
I don't know if there's been like what you call a rise in people taking money out of their account.
I advise everyone to do that because at least take half of it out. At least take a considerable amount out because.
But you know what they said that your money's safe under the the FCS or something 85,000 or something.
You can't trust none of these people, man. I mean, obviously me and you can't trust the system. I obviously they're planning to crash the system and bring in a new system. This is why everything is collapsing before your eyes. Because they need to bring in a new phase. I did mention that last week.
Yeah.
Of obviously the agenda 2021 to 30 agenda of reduced population and so forth, and a new economical system, AI, smart cities, etc. 5G.
So what about this then? Yeah, they're planning to detain people under the Mental Health Act. They will only need one doctor's permission, not two. Any doctors will be able to sign death certificates.
Right.
And that's dangerous to me. Look at these two things now here, right?
Okay.
They're saying that they're giving all the, because what's happening is that the National Health Service is in the limelight now.
No, sorry to interrupt. I've just read between the lines of what they mean by Mental Health Act. It's like somebody that is aware of what's going on. That's basically a conspiracy theorist, as they call us, right? They're going to be putting us under the Mental Health Act.
To say that we're crazy.
Right.
People like me, Sayshara's crazy. You're a nut, Sayshara. Talking all that stuff, man. Get out of here.
So they have the right to detain us and to torture us and do whatever they're going to do to us. Or whatever they're planning. I don't know what they're planning.
Yeah.
But, that's my opinion about this whole thing. Because mental health, I mean, there's places for mental people anyway.
Yeah.
So why would they want to have a Mental Health Act to detain people? So they're talking about the people that truthers, yeah? Okay, that's basically speaking the truth on various social medias, right? They're going to be detaining them.
Yeah. I don't know how these people get away with it, because we've got 600 members.
The only way they get away with it is by people consenting. The majority of people consent to their laws, they believe in their government and so forth.
Yeah.
That's how they get away with it all the time.
We got they're telling us this, obviously it's an emergency situation, okay? So they're bringing out this emergency coronavirus bill to kind of like deal with this situation, right?
Yeah.
It just feels like to me, I just feel like it's the people's become more and more powerless. Yeah, they're just taking more or less your power away from you, right? And they're just throwing like a dog a bone at you.
Yeah. Sorry, it's not coronavirus, by the way.
That's all right, mate.
Nowadays you can't even cough because people think it's coronavirus.
I know everyone's paranoid now. Everyone's paranoid.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But to me, I don't think we should be paranoid. I think it's the opposite. I think everybody's kind of being like antisocial now. We're in an antisocial mode right now, right? Because that's the mode they want to put us in. They're telling us all this stuff, which is antisocial stuff. They're telling us, right?
That's right. Yeah.
That to me, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. How's that going to work? Do you get what I'm saying?
Tell me, how's it going to work? How's it going to work? It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But you know, the coronavirus thing itself, right? If you look at it, I mean, they said how many people died so far? What, over 1,000, right? Sorry. I'll cough now. Meth. Call you back and
yeah, call me back when you're ready.
Again. I'll call you back because obviously, I just want to hear. I've read something. I've read something, and it's obviously I've checked on it. But I think I'm all right now. I can continue.
All right, continue.
Yeah, so they're saying basically that over 1,000 people died from it, right? No, right, 1,200. Okay, but how many people die of natural things a week in the UK?
It. We can look at that. I'll tell you the truth. All right, we can actually look at that.
Yeah, let's say over 10,000 people, right? So how do we know, right, that these people are dying? Okay, it's coronavirus, not something else. It could be flu. People die, thousands die of flu.
Right, so you've given a big clue away, right? Massive clue you've given. The whole planet Earth, whoever's hearing this, okay, need to, like I said, participate in the conversation by getting involved. Go on your computer systems and type in cause of death for this year. Just this year alone, right? So I've got here that 56 million people died in 2017, right?
Wow.
And I've got a list of the cause of death, okay? And remember, this is a generalization of it. So I've got here a chart. The chart states the number of deaths by cause world 2017, okay? So now I've got a list here, right? Of...
56 million this year alone.
Well, this is just in over 2017, right?
Okay.
So you know, it gives you a rough estimate or guide, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it breaks down all the figures, right?
No.
And I think it says cardiovascular diseases. It's got 17.79 million, right? Then it goes from cardiovascular diseases, cancers, respiratory diseases, lower respiratory infections, dementia, digestive diseases, neonatal disorders, diarrheal diseases, diabetes, liver diseases, road injuries, kidney disease, tuberculosis, HIV/AIDS, suicides, malaria, homicides, Parkinson's disease, drowning, meningitis, nutritional deficiencies. That's because more or less you could say malnutrition, right? Protein energy malnutrition. So, I don't know. There's two differences there, and then it's got maternal disorders, alcohol use disorders, drug use disorders, conflicts, hepatitis, fire, poisonings, heat and cold exposure, terrorism, and natural disasters.
There you go.
Right? And that's just 1 year in 2017, right?
Wow.
Okay? So millions and millions of people die globally around the world. We could say 50 million on average. And over.
A year.
Every year. So we're talking about 1 million a week.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah, 1 million a week, exactly.
1 million a week. Right?
Right. And over here, there's 10,000 people that die.
Every year?
Per week.
Per week?
Per week.
Right.
And now we've got this coronavirus thing. And it's 200 people. 1,000 people in, a month was it? It's about a month. How long has this been going on for, these figures? Every day that it's going up by 200, 300, 400. Just to get people more and more scared. And we don't know if these deaths are really happening. We don't know. because we believe the media, but the media can easily manipulate you to believe anything. So we don't know if it's true or not.
Well, this is one of the questions that has to be asked. Are they able to differentiate and distinguish between these different? You got colds. I mean, for all we know, this could be just a common cold. You know what I mean? That it's just been exaggerated or blown out of proportion, right? Or it could be flu, it could be pneumonia, it could be a long list of things that's related to a cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right. But the thing is, the majority of people, they trust in certain media, like your Sky and your BBC. They never question it. They think it's credible. They think it's credible news.
Of course, they watch. Okay? Of course, these people are like gods. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Right. So we've got a little cult movement going on there with the World Health Organization. Right. Yeah. These little cultists. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
WHO. Yeah.
Yeah. WHO. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they sound credible.
Also CDC.
CDC, they sound credible. All these organizations and institutions, they sound very, very credible. But you got to look at really, do they say what they say on the label?
Yeah, it's just a front for the new world order, aren't they? That's
absolutely, the front. It's a veil, a shura. You know what I'm saying? It's a hidden curtain. The curtain that we're looking at. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people not seeing that. You know, because they're not interested in that anyway. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, even a lot of people are saying now, they can't wait for the vaccine to come. I mean, I heard other things as well. There's like certain people saying, we're volunteering for the vaccine.
It's very troubling times, because in this country they said that they needed 250 volunteers. Right? Remember the national service is at rock bottom right now.
It is, yeah.
Right?
It is.
And this is the worst situation at the worst time for this to happen. Right? When the national service is on its knees. Right? Now these situations happen. Then they turn around and said, because it's an emergency situation, they need 250,000 volunteers. And apparently over 400,000 applied. Right?
Why do they need so many volunteers for this thing?
Yes. What we got to look at, every single little thing that they're saying and doing.
Exactly.
Hey, we got to go over this with a fine-tooth comb.
What are they expecting?
Right, because you see
them. They have to have so many volunteers.
Right, you see what you said about these people wearing these. What do you call these suits? They're wearing
hazmat suits. Yeah, hazmat suits.
Hypermat suits.
Yeah, with the mask or whatever. Hazmat, they call it hazmat.
Hazmat
suit. It's like a chemical suit.
Right.
They've got.
Right.
You see it everywhere now.
Right. You see these things. You see these films. Like I think we saw one the other day, Contagion. Right.
Contagion. Yeah.
Remember the one?
Right?
Yeah, the one they banned that film. Well, sorry, they took that film down on YouTube. Right. Then YouTube put that film up on their YouTube player for $3.49 and on Google Play for $3.49. So they said, if you want to watch this film, you're going to have to pay for it.
Pay for it,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Then they showed it on ITV4 on Thursday. Short notice.
But it's better be on catch up. It's better be on catch up, right? Okay, it's that same film and they took it off.
Did they?
That's what I heard. Yeah, they took it off catch up.
Right. Because it's either...
It's waking people up, man.
Yeah, because... Like I said, I'm talking about them suits you're talking about, yeah? Suits, right? Now, them suits, they look very, very spooky, them suits, no lie. You got people coming out to you like that. Man, you got to run a mile. Because that's the things that you see in them films, them zombie films or them films where, people have been contaminated and whatever.
But the funny thing about it is that when they were taking away people in Wuhan, right? Okay, they were wearing the same suit. You don't know who's in those suits. Okay, you don't know if it's government officials. You don't know if it's army. You don't know.
Yeah, but you know that video? You know that video, right? The one where they was questioning the patient that they said that was dead, but he wasn't dead, right?
Yeah.
The people them wearing them suits, right? They was given instruction by House One or something. They said. Did you get that?
You see.
House One.
I kind of got it. Yeah, I kind of got it. Yeah, exactly.
House One.
Yeah.
Right.
There
They're
you go,
getting the instruction from House One. Who the hell is House One?
House One. Yeah.
Right. But to me, these people, you know, I don't know if they're getting paid. They're saying they're voluntary, but they're getting paid. I think there's some sort of deal they're getting, right? I think they are getting paid. For those people that were working with them before, that may have been left or were laid off or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but all I know is go on.
That's why they need people in their houses, isn't it? So they can kidnap them. I guess I don't know what they're planning.
I just think they just look dubious in their suits. Okay,
they look kind of dubious. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not saying I don't know. I don't prove. But maybe that is why they want people in their house. I'm just saying.
And another thing is, you touched on one thing. I've got to touch on, like what they're saying about the elderly is so wrong. The way this government's talking about the elderly people is wrong.
Yeah.
They were saying things that's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Even Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, he was saying things that's wrong about elderly, right?
Yeah.
And that's what was conflicting and confusion. I mean, to me, they should never ever say that the elderly are the most vulnerable for catching this virus.
Exactly.
And then and then at the same time contradicting themselves, saying, "Well, young people can't get it."
Yeah,
exactly. But how can they know that young people can't get it, and that if they do get it, they don't pass it on to other people? How do they know that? So how can they turn around and say, "Oh, young people don't get it"? Do you get what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree with you.
It just does not make any sense, right? You're supposed to say
same old deception.
Right. You're supposed to say that everybody's able to get it, regardless.
Able to get it. Exactly.
Right?
It doesn't matter what age
then
you are.
It can't be an extreme aggressive virus.
Yeah.
It can't be.
No.
The way that they're saying that it is, because if they're saying, "Oh, you can get it," like Boris Johnson and Prince Charles, "Oh, we can get it," but you know what? It's waters of a duck's back, isn't it?
You can get it from touching and all this.
Yeah, you can get it, right? But then the symptoms that you get, because obviously they're saying that if you touch anything, and you're gonna get it straight away. This is what they're saying, that it's hyper.
Really, it goes through the skin.
Contagious.
It's really hard to believe that, you know.
No, but it's what they're saying. They're saying it's.
I know. That's what they say. I understand.
It's contagious, right?
It's a bit hard for this thing to be so contagious that it goes through the skin and then it basically goes up your lungs. It just seems a bit.
It's just too much things going on there.
It just seems. I don't know.
It's just, you know what I'm saying? And then you see what's happening is that the mainstream media, the government, the medical industry, and the scientific industry, they're all in collusion with each other and saying the same things.
In collusion, yeah, of course they are.
Right? So, you know what I'm saying? Right? And anybody that's saying anything that's objective or questions or challenge their thoughts, you're not going to hear about that. You're just not going to hear about it because they're not propagating that. They're not promoting that. Right?
Exactly.
They want to push out their agenda. They don't want to hear nobody else's agenda regardless, right? And to me, to get a rounded conversation or debate or way of looking at things, I think you need a cross-membered view.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You need a broad cross-membered view. You can't just have one group of people saying one thing and they're just going to lead all the way to where? To the abyss. We're going to follow these people to the abyss.
Yeah, but they see them as credible, don't they? They see these people as credible people, and obviously anybody else, you know what I mean, that basically comes with any other narrative. You know, we're actually crazy people. You know, mad.
So basically, it's changing the whole fabric of how we live our lives right now. The way this system is working out for us. Okay.
Yeah. So now they're saying they might extend this for 3 months. Okay. So what about the people that are self-employed? How they can survive? How are they going to pay their bills? I mean, the Chancellor was saying there's a package for self-employed people, but that's not going to be enacted until June.
Yeah.
June. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So how are people going to survive up to that time?
The government first of all said we're going to do this thing for 3 weeks. Basically, they're going to they're going to speculate for the next 3 weeks, right? And then basically they're going to assess how things are going. Then they may extend it for 3 months. They may extend it till next year. I've heard them say till next year, September. Because,
wow.
Because they're saying that they may need to get a vaccine, right? And remember now, we know that they're pushing a vaccine. And the question you got to ask, is vaccines any good? Do they do what they say they're going to do? Because I don't really see personally speaking, I'm dealing with natural things, innit? I'm talking about being natural to the core, to the roots, right? So I'm not personally a person that talk about chemical. I would not advise people to take chemicals in any form whatsoever. I'm not about that, right? I know there's people out there with a similar mindset, right?
Well, I wouldn't take something that Bill Gates promotes, that's for sure.
Well,
I wouldn't take something that Bill Gates promotes, that's for sure. So
he's just
I'm gonna be.
He's just one person, isn't it? He's just one person, but he looks like the person who seems to be.
Mentioned about vaccines. He's the one mentioned about it.
Yeah, he looks like the one that they're using to pitch for them to sell the product.
Oh yeah.
Right, to get people to subscribe to it. Right,
he's just a figurehead.
Yeah, he's just pitching. Yeah, because obviously. Everybody knows him and blah, blah, blah. And like I said, everyone thinks he's credible because he's who he is, right?
Yeah.
So, they're going to think, well, we can trust him. We can trust him because, it's old Bill, isn't it? You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
But then
he does a lot for Africa.
Right. But then be wary of sheep, wolf in sheep clothing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm saying, because these people, they come in, talk about malaria, they got a cure for malaria. They got no cure for malaria. They all their chemicals, what they do, whether it's pharmaceutical tablets or vaccines, okay, right? Do you know what's the ingredients in those things? Right, people saying that you get side effects from those things, or
it's obviously going to be.
Yeah, you get side effects, or you can be disfigured or have a disability. Remember now, they got lethal injection in the United States of America, which is a capital punishment, right?
Oh, really?
Right. And then we know that they inject AIDS. You can inject AIDS and different things into people as well. So we're not saying that these vaccines can't kill, because they can kill. They can cause damage, physically damage and mental damage, right? Just like drugs, just like pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah.
Right? Depending on, obviously the type of ingredients that's got in it and the doses, etc., etc. Right? So what I'm saying is that the people that I like to hang out with is people who are holistic. They don't deal with anything chemical. Right? We deal with the natural herbs, natural laws, universal laws of nature. Right? That is number one. That's the number one law on this planet Earth, right? You can't be that. It's been around before any being's been around. Yeah, the natural laws of the universe and everything that's in it, the components of that, it's been around. The ingredients, the foods that's been produced has been around before we was around, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So there is natural herbs for every type of ailments or condition or so-called diseases.
People just have to see. People have to go and seek it. I mean, it's out there.
Right.
But the thing is, people rather trust the pharmaceutical companies, over anything that is natural. There's so much side effects from actually taking pharmaceutical drugs.
Yeah, but, I mean, not everybody.
It's all about the big name. It's all about the big name, isn't it?
Right. So pharmaceuticals, right, are like another gods on the planet Earth. Okay. Yeah, what they do with their money, with their billions, okay, is they manipulate the system. They fund colleges, universities. They fund projects. Do you know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
They're like a government within themselves. A lot of these corporations, and big corporations I'm talking about, they are like governments themselves. They can run a country with their finance, with their money that they got. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Yeah.
So these people can bully people just using their money.
That's right.
And that's what often they do. They come into these poor countries, these developing countries, mostly because they're vulnerable and they're easy to manipulate because they got no money. The governments are easy to corrupt.
Including Africa, right?
Yeah, a lot of these Caribbean and African countries, I'm sorry to say, but they're nothing but puppets on a string. Right?
Puppet states, yeah. Puppet states, yeah.
Right? And basically, they just go where the money goes.
Just go along with the status quo.
They go along with these programs. And to me, it's a disgrace when you got leaders that allow people to come into your country to say to you they're going to come and save you by vaccinating your children. Imagine, right? I'm having a go at these European organizations now and institutions and governments now, innit? Coming into Africa and the Caribbean, talking about giving them a humanization program. And we used to have that ourselves. We've been dehumanized by them forcing their vaccines on us from when we were babies and child and telling us, right, that these vaccines are safe when we're child. We're lucky to even be normal.
You know this COVID-19 thing is now, the lockdown is now gone to Africa now. In Kenya, South Africa, and other places as well. It's a complete lockdown now.
But I don't blame them for locking down because they want to keep away. They need to have locked down from a long time ago. What are you talking about? They should have kept them people out. All that contamination, right? Which is which is white supremacy. Yeah. It's a contamination on the planet Earth, right? They should have locked that down a long time. What are you talking about? Yeah, because they give out more diseases. They actually pushing the diseases.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And a lot of these vaccines, I know I can give them record. There's one called Project Blue Beam. If anybody thinks there's Tuskegee. Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Okay.
Experiment, yeah.
Right? I can give them. A lot of us know about a lot of this stuff, innit?
No, not everyone does.
No, not everyone.
Now.
Yeah, you're right. Right? But I can give you a long list of diseases, of experiments and all this kind of stuff, okay? That a lot of these people, many European organizations, right, pushing their vaccines, okay? Why are we dealing with vaccines when we've got natural stuff out there, innit? Why are we dealing with chemicals? I don't get it, right? I mean, you see that type of thing, innit? That's being pushed right down. Anything to do with holistic health, or what you call
put that in the forefront. It's not pushing the
right. They push it down, right, and they're more likely to pump these chemicals more than the natural ingredients and products and things like that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Because it makes money for them. It makes money for them.
Right. But people are not stupid. We're not dumb. Do you get what I'm saying? And they should know that people are not stupid and not dumb. But they continue. What I'm saying is the pharmaceutical industry now, they're so powerful, governments can't even control them. Their own governments can't control them.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
That's true.
Because they lobby for, if they want to push anything, they just lobby their government and throw money at the government. Both sides.
They're bigger than the government. Yeah.
Right.
The government.
They lobby both sides. It could be Democrats or Republican. It could be Conservative or Labour. They just throw money at them. Lobbying. Lobbies.
Yeah.
Lobbyists. These lobbyists, these chemical drug dealers.
That's what they call them, lobbyists. Yeah, that's what they are, chemical drugs.
They're just drug dealers, isn't it? Dealing in the drugs that should be illegal, they make them legal. They should be illegal, really, because they don't do anything for you.
No,
know
they
what I'm
don't do
saying?
anything.
They make out like
It
these vaccines are miracle cure. They're going around saying, "Oh, we're gonna." What does anybody know any vaccine that can cure anybody? You're going around like Jesus Christ, my Lord, God, and Savior.
But it actually makes people worse, and also the
You know what I'm
side
saying?
effects of.
I'll be real. I'm sick of these people coming in to Africa and the Caribbean talking about you coming saying that time you're wiping out them people the same way. And the United Nations and the World Organizations, the IMF and the World Trade Bank, okay, they all bankroll that kind of business.
Yeah.
Right?
But don't you think the people of Africa, don't you think they actually invite these people in? And
They
actually see them
do.
as credible as well.
They
That's the
do. And
problem.
you got to hold these leaders accountable for their own actions, okay? Because they're the ones that's inviting them in the first place. And you're quite right saying that.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
So it's
right.
all right blaming the Europeans and all of this stuff. And you know what I'm saying? Look at your own black leaders.
Yeah, but
the
remember,
Muppets.
their media, okay, I'm talking about even the ones in the Caribbean and Africa. It's basically European media. You know what I'm saying? It's basically in an African country, so
Yeah, I
they're
mean,
obviously going to
that's
get
colonialism, isn't it?
colonialism right there.
Right. We've identified that colonialism never went away. I don't business what anybody wants to say. Don't try
They
and
never left, mate.
pull the wool
They
over
never
my
left.
eyes, yeah? Right? You know what I'm saying? We've been fooled for too long now. All this stuff about colonialism don't exist and it's not there and all of this. It's still there, right? Right? We're
Alive
fooling
and kicking,
ourselves.
brother.
We've got people trying to
Alive and
fool
kicking,
ourselves. You know what I'm
man.
saying?
Alive and kicking, bro.
Yeah, we've got our own people trying to fool us with fanny talk, innit? Soft, weak butter talk. I'm not having it. Yeah? You look at all of these countries in Africa and the Caribbean and look at their constitution. It's tied up to a European country. Right?
Yeah,
it's still going there, raping and robbing and pillaging your resources, your land, and your labor, right? You know what I'm saying? You imagine they got black people to dig out resources for them to make them feel good about themselves, right? So they can be on top of the world, okay? And they give these people pittance. £1 a day. £1 a day.
Will it ever change? Will it ever change?
Not as long as you've got these weak governments in Africa and the Caribbean and they don't think they need to kick these people out. And with their nonsense and their rubbish and their filth and their nastiness. Do you get what I'm saying? Of course there's going to be nastiness around the world, right? When you got all these governments, right? Their houses are so dirty, filthy, nasty. It's a facade to make us think that they live in clean. These people are not living clean. They're nasty. That's why the world's in a state as it is, the way it is right now. Yeah? You've got all these chemical weapons, biological weapons, radiation weapons. What are you talking about? What are you going around?
Exactly.
You want to go around killing the whole planet Earth, right? You see what I'm saying? They had these leaks. Remember, the nuclear leaks, radiation leaks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Man, we are our worst enemy on this planet Earth. We shouldn't even be on this planet Earth.
I wouldn't say all
some
of
other
us.
people.
I wouldn't say all of us.
Well,
I wouldn't say all
some
of
people
us,
shouldn't be on this planet Earth because they don't deserve to be on this planet Earth. Plain.
That's true. That's true.
Because all they do is going around destroying people, land resources, and finding whatever way possible, any way possible, to kill people off.
But it's not everyone that's basically on that mindset. I mean, obviously the average Joe is not on that. It's obviously elites that have basically taken over the planet by force.
Yes.
Okay, that have got this kind of agenda.
Yeah. When you put it in, that's right. When you put it into proper context like that,
not everyone.
That's what it is.
Doesn't matter what race it is.
Right?
You know,
the class structure is a hierarchical structure, okay?
Hierarchical, yeah.
Right? Just what I'm saying. And the people that created that system are the ones that's running the system.
That's right.
Because that's how they want it, isn't it? It's set up like that.
And it's a worldwide system as well.
Of course, a global, international.
It's international, exactly. It's international world corporation.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
I call them the internationalists, globalists, elitists.
Yeah. And they're showing their hands now because you can see all over the world, everywhere's locking down at the same time. It's everything's coordinated, even in Africa. So anyone who wants to say there's no higher structure out there that's controlling us.
Yeah, we know who the higher structure is, yeah? We know who's ordering, who's doing the ordering. It's the United Nations, right? Yeah?
Exactly.
Right? They are the biggest organized intergovernment organization on the planet Earth, right? How did they come into being? Before they came into being, right? They were originally called League of Nations, okay?
League of Nations,
right?
yeah.
And they came just around the time when World War One was
World
around.
War, right? World War One.
Yeah, World War One, right? Then they never succeeded in what their objectives were, which was to have peace. No, because there was World War One, right? So that didn't work. So then in 1945, they created the United Nations.
World War Two, yeah.
World War Two,
exactly.
right? After World War Two, after the damage is done, right? But did you know that all the countries were mostly European countries? There were 51 countries to start off with. In 1945, they actually signed their agreement. Okay. To
is it true that one of the senior people that basically founded the United Nations was a neo-Nazi?
I don't know about the United Nations. I know about the European Union. I think there is some sort of connections with the Nazis.
I'll go do
German.
more research into that.
I think there is something in that. Yeah, I know the European Union, definitely the European Union, right?
Okay.
But again, like I said, 51 countries initially signed up, okay? Most of those countries were European-dominated countries, okay? Or countries that were colonized by Europeans. And surprisingly, Ethiopia was one of the black countries that joined the United Nations very, very early. So if anybody wants to talk about the Ethiopian country being liberated, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
they joined the United Nations. They're one of the first.
Another radio station just down the road is saying basically that United Nations, the African Union was independent. You know what I mean? And,
no such thing as independent. Forget that. Black people, stop talking nonsense, man. There's no you don't even have an independence to even tie your own shoelace. What are you talking about? Get that out of your head. Yeah. I'm sick of black people fooling black people with nonsense.
I so-called Rastafarians. Said it.
Well, Rastas say that. Rastas even say themselves that Selassie wasn't a Rasta, but we're not talking about Selassie. So what we're talking about is Ethiopia was one of the first African countries to join the United Nations.
Wow.
Right?
Look at that.
And to me, any country that's African or Caribbean joining the United Nations, right? You know what I'm saying? That's a Piper situation. You're not independent. You need to be, before you join an organization, sort yourself out first, innit? You know what I'm saying? This is how I know it's wrong, right? I know the United Nations is a beast, right? It's one of the head of the beasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Some people ain't gonna understand what I'm talking about there, right? But I don't business because I know what the United Nations. They know the people at the top know what the United Nations is about. The people below that don't know.
All those leaders that are part of it are just basically they're just playing the game.
They're playing the game. They're playing the game. Right? Yeah. And remember now, right, to control Africa and the Caribbean and all these different places, South America and all that, all they need to do is control one leader in each country. That's it. And they control 1 billion black people. Or over 1 billion black people. Because they got what, 56 leaders in Africa?
There you go.
And how many leaders? About 23 leaders in the Caribbean. What, 50? Less than 100 people you need to control. Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
Not hard, not difficult.
And none of the armies are independent. They're all controlled as well.
Yeah, because that system that's in place is a European dominated system. What are you talking about? Whether it's political or economic.
It's a blueprint, isn't it?
Yeah, we're just using their system. We're just using their system because it's a Roman system, isn't it? It's a Roman Greco system.
Yeah, if you go back. Yeah.
So we're still living in Roman times. That's why they say in Rome, do as the Romans do. Right? Exactly. And that's how they want to have us. Right? But then in order for us to be self-independent as black African people, as a nation of people as a whole, we've got to see ourselves as one group of people. Right? Not how they want to see us. As they see us as IC3 as black people. It doesn't matter if you want to call yourself mixed heritage, what's the one they say? Bio something? You know what I'm saying? Biracial or quarter racial and all of this stuff, okay? It doesn't matter. If once they see that you're black, your skin is black, you're Sergeant Son, you're IC3, you're black. So I don't see how people with mixed heritage want to get into some stupid, dumb argument, right? Saying that they don't see institutional racism and all of that stuff. That is the dumb argument. Because when they look at you,
some of them do, some of them
yeah,
don't.
but when they need to, what they need to do, right, is think, because they don't thinking, is it? Yeah. When they see you on the road or anywhere, when the police see you, right? Remember, the police are the law of the land. When the police see you as the law of the land, they don't see that you're mixed race or you're biracial. They don't get into that. They don't get their book out or their video out and say, "Oh, let me check what color you are." Forget
you're
that.
a blackie.
Right? You're a black dude, man.
You're black.
Right?
Yeah, you're black.
So all that division stuff, I'm not getting to, right? But what I'm saying is, and all that color code scheme, that's not our thing, innit?
No.
Right? They pit each other. That's how they want it, right? The Europeans want to pit each other against each other, one another, based on this color code class system, right? We can't get into that. That's nothing to do with us.
Yeah, but you know, times like this now, we should be trying to come together a bit closer now. Because,
it's going to be very difficult, bro, because how are you going to do that?
I know.
You can't.
I know.
Their law overrules anything you want to say. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can't group up in more than two. You can't even. They're giving you social distancing. You can't even group up with a pair. You can't even hang out with your girlfriend or your woman.
Yeah, exactly. So it's social distancing. If you go anywhere close to anybody, it's social distancing now. You know, so you can't link up in any place. You get fined for it. You get £1,000 fine for your social distancing. I mean, you know, you got to give it to them. You know, you got to give it to the Europeans. They're very cunning, very, very crafty. Yeah, and they know how to manipulate the public. You got to give it to them.
But the only problem is that
it's
all right having a system and saying, "Oh, I'm at the top of the system. I can do whatever I want," and then get laws and do whatever I want with the laws. You know what I'm saying? You want to have your cake and eat? Go ahead, get stuffed, innit?
That's right.
That's what's happening, innit? So they're belly full now, right? Yeah, and they're never satisfied. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, never.
That's what's happening, right? They're never satisfied with power.
No.
They want more.
They already got the world as it is. Why do they need more power? They've already got enough.
Because they're control freaks, yeah, and they're psychopaths, sociopaths.
Yeah, psychopaths. They're psychopaths.
Right, some of these people, not all of them, but I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
No, the ones at the top, we're talking about the elites now. They are all psychopaths, all of them. Right?
No, I'm going to say...
If they've got an agenda, no, what I'm saying, if they've got an agenda to depopulate the planet, right, kill off majority of the planet, right, and bring in transhumanism, bring in AI, all this stuff, put in microchips, in your body. I mean, these people and vaccines. I mean, that's only psychopathic behavior.
I was going to ask, right? I was going to ask the listening audience, right?
Yeah, I know.
In fact, you mentioned some of the things right there. It's kind of interesting to me, okay? Because I've got a list of questions. I've always got some questions. Trust me on that, right? I'll never get tired of talking. Trust me, I'm like Muhammad Ali.
I know you're ready, man.
So what I'm saying is this, yeah?
You know, I call you the Black Columbo, bro.
You know that.
Always investigating things, bro.
You know that. You got to do that, innit? You got to do that. You know, Columbo, you have to big him up still, you know?
Columbo, bro.
So, yeah. But you see, you just highlighted some of the agendas that possibly could be rolled out, right? Or will be rolled out, right? Yeah, now I got a list, okay? Just 6 things I would have loved if anybody could have texted me and told me.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But I'm gonna leave you on that one, yeah. But yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
Man. Great show, brother, as always. You know what I mean? Keep speaking the truth. You know what I mean? People need to know this. You know what I mean? And we talk again.
Yeah, keep it rocking, man.
Bro, bless you. Yeah, man. Locked in, brother.
Yeah, that 100.
Great station, yeah.
Yeah, man. Big up for Verity every time. Tune in live across the globe.
Yeah, good station, brother, man.
Big up Andrew and your family, yeah.
Yeah. Respect.
100.
Same to you.
Respect to you. So yeah, what? Talking about bigging up, okay. Just to stop, just for a pause for the cause, okay. I want to say, before the advert comes in, condolences goes out to Jackie McLeod, who recently just passed away just last night. Okay? And she was suffering from sickle cell for some time now. And I'm not sure what's happened. I'll probably find out. But she was sort of hospital bound for some few weeks, okay, just before she passed away. Right? I also heard that another brother passed away by the name of Weatherman. I'm going to big up the Weatherman family and say my condolences and heart and minds goes out to the Weatherman family. I don't know the young brother myself personally. Obviously, we may have rubbed shoulders because we're from the same area, and we probably, would have bucked up in different places. Okay, I probably know family. My family knows my family and things like that. Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely big up the Weatherman family for their loss. Hearts and mind goes out also to the McLeod family and all those others that may have lost someone recently. Sheffield, obviously Sheffield, Renfield. So beloved sister Andrew lost her father the other day, and yeah, condolences goes out to the family of Andrea Sheffield. Okay, father, grandfather, uncle, brother. You know what I'm saying? So alright, so basically we got another hour left after this break, and then we're going to be looking at some of the things that are relevant to what's happening today. Everything that's going on right now is live. Again, like I said, I don't like the way they're treating the elderly, or they're talking about the elderly, and how the system's looking at them like undesirables. And the way that they generalize the elderly people or stigmatize them in a way that, oh, well, if they go to hospital, you know what I'm saying? If they get the coronavirus, they're going to die. All right, so I'll be back in a few seconds after this chat.
For Africans here, it's not healthy for us to stay here all winter. That's a real problem for us because we need intense sunlight all of the time. And the darker you are, the more vulnerable you are by staying in dim areas of the country and not getting adequate exposure. So I have found ever since I healed myself of cancer in '86 that I cannot stay here through the winter. I actually feel the strain and I feel the dipping into my reserves of energy. So I just go to the tropics where I was indigenously born and created to be and get sunlight.
Original. 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 Original.
Yeah, Sayshara back on the set once again. I'm here. Telephone numbers are 07305 417 668. Sayshara still in the house. Keeping it live here on Fiferity Radio. Get your people to lock in and tune in here. Yeah. Sayshara. Just turning that music down. All right, so to begin with, I start talking about how we need to look at restructuring ourselves, re-evaluating our circumstances, and readapting the way that we live our lives. And obviously, this is a complete shock to the system, I would imagine, for most people. And, you know, it could cause a lot of people a lot of physical ailments if you don't keep fit, a lot of mental, psychological issues if we're not actually engaging, using your cognitive minds, that we need to continue to motivate ourselves into doing things. You need to feel like something, you're doing something, innit? You feel satisfied with what you're doing, right? So again, like I said, you need to look at keeping yourself healthy, mentally, physically, and eating the good foods. Get rid of some of the foods that are toxic. I don't need to tell you what those foods are. Mainly meats, fatty foods, salty, sugary foods, foods that are gonna give you a lot of carbohydrates, and we need to cut down definitely on fizzy drinks. Any fizzy drinks, sweet, drinks too sugary, you're gonna have to cut all that out. Yeah, all that stuff just builds in toxins and makes your immune system weak and vulnerable. All right. So, like I said, all the natural things that you can think of: fruits, vegetables, plants, seeds, roots, and nuts, whole grain stuff. All right. Now, the question I wanted to ask, okay, is there a difference between a disease and a virus? Because there is a difference, right? Now, I think I need to play you something, all right, to give you an idea, give you another perspective, right? If I can give you another perspective from another doctor, because I've been looking at a lot of what other doctors have been saying, right? And I compare a reference to these doctors, scientists, okay, and what they're saying, right? So I don't just look at one, I don't just refer to one person, or when I'm doing my research or when I'm investigating things and stuff like that, I just don't look at one source. I look at as many sources as possible, and I try to get into the mind of what's going on there, right? But let me see if I can take this call and I'll come back to you on that one. For Verity Radio, good evening. Hold on, Birchak, hold on. Got you plugged out, hold on. Yeah, you're plugged in now. Go on.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, what I've been listening to Mac 1, and I've heard him for a number of times now.
Yeah.
It's now, I don't know, I'm being confused here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm being very, very confused. It's all like going to, it's going to hurt my head. I don't know who to trust now and who not to trust, really. I mean, if you had your own sort of black TV or media, your own black TV or media, and that was going to happen until something mashed it up, you know, and that is what I mean, and this was going to be highlighted maybe, you know, but what I'm saying is that now they want to put the vaccine, maybe they will have a cure for this, but in that vaccine, they will put a chip in people which would know what you think, what you feel, and then they've already making robots, as I already said, robots to serve you in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And robots, so King Lion said, these robots will know what you think, so they will give the police forces to robots and thingy. So they're hurrying up the speed of making robots, robot police, robot ambulance, and robots cannot be like humans because they will have no feeling. They won't have no feeling. So when they come into your thing, they're gonna hurt you. You know, like look at iRobot. So they're gonna hurry up the process maybe of making robots in the police, robots in the army, robots teachers, and robot lifeguards, instrument. You know, robot everyone.
So you're worried about artificial intelligence, robots. Where are these robots then?
Well, look what's happening now in Turkey. They've had a robot that's basically robots now serving the people in restaurant, like just carrying the food.
Is it?
And then putting it out.
That's so funny, man. Are you serious?
I mean,
so there's a robot in some part of Turkey. Okay, he's in a restaurant, right, being a waitress. Acting as a waitress.
This is what I heard.
No, I don't know.
This is what I heard in the Turkish.
No, you need to get that information in it. Get it back to me, innit? Get me that information, right? And then so we can source that information, yeah? Because it's funny. It sounds funny to me, but I'm not saying you're not telling the truth or you're not. You know what I'm saying? But it sounds hilarious. You know what I'm saying? It sounds something like some comedy sketch. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's been happening now as well? I mean, this is what they're going to speed up the process, because then they will bring artificially intelligent computers like humans, computers like, you know, and they're not gonna. They're just gonna turn off. They're just gonna tell you to off and just turn off like humans. Look at Siri now. The brains inside Siri. The iPhones that it's all a new world order. It's all a new world order where online things are being online banking, and I don't know what they're going to be think too. Chaos.
Well,
disorder.
I think you kind of anticipated. Hold on. You kind of anticipate one of the questions I was going to ask is what. If anybody can send me a text, what are the probability of things that you think that they're going to roll out as part of an agenda? Right, and you just mentioned about AI. I'm interested in that. Yeah, definitely. Look, moving forward, we know that there's a lot of talk about these robots taking over jobs and things like that. Is there anything else that you can think of, Berchak, that you can talk to me about in terms of what's happening right now?
Yes, I can.
What is the aftermath? What are you seeing out there? What's happening now? This is the aftermath right now.
Opportunities. Basically, we went into a shop. I'm not naming no names. I'm not naming no places because I do not want for Ferry to Radio to have a court order or anything like that. So I'm not going to name you no names. I just say it's a Turkish shop, and I'm just going to say that. I'm not naming no names, no shop brand, no nothing like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we went in. We bought meat, and basically they put it more than £50. More than £50.
Right. Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
The inflated prices. Right. So when you talk about opportunity, you're talking about people opportunists who are opportunists and taking advantage of taking advantage of this actual so-called pandemic, COVID-19 situation, right? So yeah, you're gonna get those people. You're gonna get those people that's gonna exploit different avenues, take advantage of people. You're gonna get.
Well, what's also been happening is
it's wrong. It is wrong. What you're saying is that there's a lot of people out there.
Wrong.
There's people that got shops. Well, if you know somebody that's got a shop, for example, okay, and you know that the prices that they're charging is really, really too high, okay, just don't go to the shop anymore.
Well, what's happened in Turkey as well, yeah, I know you don't like, maybe you think thing against the president, but let me tell you, what the president said was, he wants to think out a law which said that these opportunists, yeah, you go to their shop, yeah, you can WhatsApp the WhatsApp news, yeah, on the news channel. They will go to the shop. They will tell the people, the lawmakers. The police will come, take that man away from his shop, yeah, fine him, and also put it on his criminal record. Maybe not imprisonment, but if it goes too much, they can imprison him for 1 year or.
So you're saying that you can do a citizen arrest and take him to the police station and get him to get charged, right?
Yeah, over there, and basically they're trying to rule out this. They're trying to put this law out because it's liberty. What they're doing it much more like they're doing it the same as here. And basically, he said, "Look, you cannot do this to the people." Yeah, to the poor, common Turkish person who's trying to buy his meat, who's trying to buy her chicken, who's trying to, get things. And basically, if you do this, yeah, taking too much advantage, we're going to come or we would arrest you. Now, however, the opposition to Erdogan, which is the CHP party, every time when he tries to do something, they're trying to come against him. And I'm very, 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 very upset with what they're trying to do. This man is looking after his country, and also now, in the common time now, I heard that the police officers are cooking foods, they're cooking traditional food, and the police are sending the old people, the young people, food for them to... Now, can I say this again? For people to listen to this. The police, with their gloves, they're cooking food, traditional food, and they're putting it delivery. Home delivery. No police in Italy can do this. No police in England is doing this. Only the Turkish police. Because, Erdogan says, well, and when you give an order, the police can take the order to your house, yeah, or to your flat. And basically, he's trying to give out some things to the people. I understand, don't go out, but people are evading the lockdown, yeah, and people are not taking it seriously. So what I'm saying is that so far people have been shocked, and they give Turkey now reward for this.
So where do you get your information, Berchak? Generally speaking.
All the news channels, all the Turkish news channels, it's been showing as well.
Name me a couple of them. Like, name me a couple of them. You can't say.
No. What I'm saying is I can, but I don't want to advertise another TV in front of Authority Radio.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I can name you all of them.
So you watch cable TV, is satellite TV then?
No, I can watch it from the internet.
Oh, the internet?
Now, there's so much technology. Yeah. I can watch it from the internet, and I saw a policeman, shake an old man's hand with a glove, and the old auntie saying, "Oh, auntie, I'm so." She goes, "I'm very, very happy that you are here." So, this is what's happening here.
So what's happening there then, Beecher? What's happening here when you go
England?
Yeah, here.
Opportunities, and they're not doing nothing about it.
Right, because you jumped from talking about opportunities here, then you just jumped to Turkey.
No, over there they're doing something about it, but over here they're not doing nothing about it.
Right,
they're not
so
doing
you're saying
jack.
Right, okay, so you're making the comparison between this government, the British government, and the Turkish government in terms of protecting the rights of the people to get food at reasonable cost, okay? Whereas in this country, anything goes, right? The government's not doing anything enough, so it's not doing enough, right? Or going a long way to...
Yeah.
So what do you think the government can do then, in terms of what you just mentioned there about...
Well, they should learn...
No, but what can the government do?
Well,
what do you think the government should do?
Well, Boris should learn from the Turkish president, and he should also get some police to cook and deliver the food because there's volunteers. But it would be good to see some off-duty police to cook, to volunteer, to come and say, auntie, uncle, look, don't worry about it. You know, advising this, that. You know, the government's totally out of touch. The police are...
I like what you said there, you know. I like what you said because what you're saying there makes sense. The police, I don't know what they're doing now because I don't know if crime's really that relevant now. I would imagine there's...
No, I'm talking about the police delivering, doing...
No, I understand what you're saying. I'm going to go on to talk about that in a minute. But I'm just saying that the job of the police is to stop crime, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
It's not, they're not social workers, right? But I understand what you're saying, yeah? That in the meantime, while they're not really doing any criminal investigation, that they can do some volunteer work. But remember, the police is not, that's not their job, right? But I understand what you're saying.
But the Turkish police, they're doing two things at once. They're stopping the thing, but they're also cooking and also helping to deliver. For example, if an old person wanted kebab, they will have special kebab where they will deliver the kebab there. Like, this is incredible. Also, if you got a symptom of a coronavirus, the ambulance can quickly come and they will say, don't worry about it. They're like liaison officers. They'll quarantine you. They say everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be all right. They put you into the ambulance thing and they quarantine you for a while. And they say, how are you? You know, they talk to you like a normal thing. I haven't heard the ambulance here. They're just like spirits.
Right.
They're just like, you know.
So let me stop you there. So basically what you're saying is that...
Comparison to both countries right now.
So what you're saying is, I know you're making a lot of comparisons to Turkey, right? So what you're saying is that the people here, they're not so empathetic in terms of the National Health Service staff and how they deal with the patients or suspected COVID-19.
Yeah, and also now there's been many news out now that disabled people are being beaten up very badly. Like they're going out, not by normal people, by actually the citizens.
So
they've been beaten up and kicked out.
We're in this country.
Yes, in this country.
Right,
they're saying that because of you we have the virus and start now.
So you're saying that some elderly people have been victimized because they're being scorned.
Not just elderly, disabled.
Disabled
people like me and you, me as well.
Yeah.
Disabled people like me being victimized and being beaten up.
Why?
Because spat at.
Why?
Because they're saying, it's all because of you. Because what's happening is, I'm going to tell you this now. Please lend me your ears. Please, yeah? The agent provocateurs, they're these agent provocateurs now who's trying to make big fuel to the fire and trying to set fire. And basically, they're trying to hype up the things, saying, this is going to happen, make the virus look bigger. And they're going to try and say, to do X, Y, and Z to disabled people pumping up things from these social media sites. And these people get vulnerable to it. And then they start to attack the disabled or spit at them or start to attack the elderly. And in Peckham, about a few days ago, there was some places being smashed, windows being smashed, bosses being smashed, window being smashed with bats and baseball bats.
Yeah.
You know?
So what are you saying, Bert? Are you saying that you've been physically assaulted then?
No, I wasn't physically assaulted. I'm talking about those people. And also the buses have been smashed in Peckham. One bus has been smashed because...
Right, because this is what I want to hear. I want to hear what's going on out there, Berchak. I want to hear...
This was about 4 days or in the week, in the first week of the quarantine.
Because that's it. I want to know that what's happening out there, any unusual occurrences, anything suspicious, anything that don't look right or looks...
Agent provocateurs. These are agent provocateurs.
I don't know what you're talking about. Who's agents? What agents?
Agent provocateurs are people...
Yeah, but who are you talking about?
basically these provocateurs are going on Facebook and trying to be also the opportunities of the virus. They're trying to pump up so they can get people to do their dirty work for them. For example, someone could say, well, do X, Y, and Z to this person because they're the ones that caused the virus, or do X, Y, and Z to this, they're the ones that caused the virus. So they're trying to put the fuel on the fire.
I know that. Yeah, there has been. I know. To me, some elderly have been victimized. I can see that. Yeah, and I don't like the way.
No, those.
No, I'm just saying.
Hold on.
I'm just saying that. I'm just giving you a rundown. Yeah, I'm saying this is what I'm seeing, that the way that the government has victimized or stereotyped or stigmatized the elderly. Yeah, I'm saying to say that they're more vulnerable to getting the coronavirus. So basically, they're the ones, they can't go nowhere, they can't do nothing, right? Yeah?
Yeah.
And that anybody, you know what I'm saying? They make them look like they're leopards, right? And all of this stuff, right? And I think it's wrong. I think that they only need more care and attention and stuff like that, more than we sort of alienating them. I saw an elderly woman yesterday, right? Queuing outside a shop because you've got to queue out. Some of these Sainsbury's or Tesco's or whatever they are. You got to queue out, right? And this woman was at the back of the queue, and I was thinking, why is she at the back of the queue? And she's an elderly woman at the back of the queue, right? And I think that it's wrong. That there's, I think there's a lot of chaos going on out there, right? Or this stuff that's disorderly that should be more orderly. Because to me, why are elderly people queuing up to go into a shop, right? In the cold, if it's raining, they can't hang about much. They need to sit down and you know what I'm saying? They need to get in and out. You know what I'm saying? Because they need to sit down. They need to be feel more relaxed and stuff like that. They don't need to be stressed out. Do you know what I'm saying?
It's like this on most shops now. Even the Turkish shop, they said one at a time. Only elderly. But this one's different. They said elderly customers and disabled, but no unelderly, unless you need something urgent.
Yeah, I know the government. I know the government put out. No, listen to me. I'm just saying to people, out there, I know the government has put given the elderly more. How can I put it? I've given them more credence or given them more opportunities to for them to shop, make their shopping life easier, right? If I can say that. I know the government said that, right? But I think that the shops themselves have a responsibility to take care or to be aware that if there's elderly people there, to let elderly people just know that they can come straight into the shop. They shouldn't be queuing up. Do you know what I'm saying? Because to me, that's a nonsense, right?
Also, the rule is that you have to buy one toilet paper, not two. You have to buy one thing, basically. So not as before, where you buy 3 or 4. Now you have to buy 2 noodles or 2 pot noodles.
So there's restrictions on the foods and what goods and products you can buy. Yeah, mainly foods and.
I mean the number of
foods and products like you just said, toilet paper and maybe soaps and cleansers or sanitizers and things like that. Yeah, because that's what people's been mostly buying, right? But that's the panic buying. That's the panic pandemonium type behavior that you're seeing out there. So what else is that you're seeing out there? I'll give you another minute.
What else I've been seeing? What else I've been seeing is that in the bank you have to stay 2 meters away, 10 meters away.
10 meters.
10 meters. 10 centimeters. I think it's 10. Yeah. I was just like, clearing my throat. Yeah. And the lady said in front of me, "Can you please stand 10 meters back?" And there's a lady
10 meters?
next to me.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. 2 meters, you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
2 meters.
She said that.
She said 10 meters.
Yeah.
She don't obviously know. She don't know what meters are, then, innit? She's obviously don't know. 10 meters is quite far.
Well, let me tell you this. There's a lady right behind me, and she's close to me. And I said, "How the I said the F word. Obviously, said, how the hell could I hold back? If there's a lady behind me, she's still saying. And I said, I saw, but I shouldn't have done it. But I lost my. I had to run my mouth out. I had to say, you know what? This is ridiculous. But I didn't want to, just in case they will call the police or the army or something, So I just came in, did my thing, come up, and then I went across to get, shave, because I need now I've got a beard and I need to have a shave. I walked. There's no barbers that's open. All the barber shops are being closed down. The Jamaican barbers near. They've been closed. It says on the big thing, because of the coronavirus, we had to take our precautions. There's a lot of things that's been closed down. Schools that's been closed down. And now there's a petition out saying that stop the internet bills and the council tax and the water tax and the bills, while this coronavirus is happening because people can't afford it.
Touche. And you're right. And Bertak, I want to say thanks for you give me enough information.
I signed that petition.
Okay, good. Well, what is the petition then? Give us the petition before you go.
Well, I'm going to forward it to you so you can read it out.
All right, forward it to you. Yeah, okay, do that then.
Yeah, on the text, the Authority Radio, the text on that text number. But as soon as I do that, ASAP, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to call you, and I'm going to tell you, then you can read it out. Because it's important for people to sign it.
Thanks.
All right then, mate?
Very much. Well done. Cool.
All right then.
All right, there you have it.
Peace and love.
100. All right, so Bertak there. Any comments from anything that Bertak says or Mac One? You're welcome to phone in at any point in time, telephone or text in. Telephone number 073 054 176 68. I repeat, 073 054 176 68. Okay, so I'm just going to go to this break and then come on.
The voice for the voiceless on Authority Radio. www.authority.london.co.uk. Sayshara, the most topical
radio
presenter, coming from London, England. Live every Sunday, 3 till 6 p.m. Sayshara.
All right, so Sayshara still in the house. Okay, so got just winding down. Got less than 30 minutes left. And then I'll be out of it, okay? Not even touch the surface around some of the things I want to talk about. Sayshara, once he starts, he can never stop. And it's difficult because too much information, not enough time, okay? It's like trying to condense 15 hours in 3 hours. Because if I had one slot a day, like most radio presenters, I'll do a 3-hour slot, I'll get more. And we've got Brother Freestyle. He's going to be coming in to grace the microphone, the digital lines, the airwaves, and he's going to give you some information out there to keep you thinking, keep you hanging, all right? So keep it locked in here in Authority for Brother Freestyle, and he's going to give you his rendition of knowledge and information that's going to keep you hanging, all right? So I just want to play a little video, 7 minutes long, okay? It's not very long. And basically, just to give you a perspective from a doctor, you might have heard this information before, I don't know, right? But it's just to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Because like I said, that the key thing is, okay, to really understand what is the difference between a disease and a virus, okay? Because there's a lot of different things going on here. And there's some things I'm not happy with. I don't like the way that the information is presented to us. And to me, I think this is really blown so out of proportion, right? Because I don't think a lot of people understand what a virus is. Do you know what I'm saying? I think we understand to some degree what a disease is. But then if you look at what a disease is, just stop for a second and think what a disease is. When you get a disease, okay, it's not going to take you out straight away, right? It's going to be disease. It's going to be hanging there for a while, right? You're not going to die straight away. You're not just going to die suddenly, right? And that's in most cases. I'm not saying that in some cases that people don't die suddenly, because people do die suddenly, right? But I'm just saying if people have been diagnosed, for example, by their doctor, and their doctor says, oh, you know, by the way, you got this disease or you got this condition or whatever, generally it's an ongoing process of how to deal with that disease or how to manage it, right? Or how to alleviate it, right? You're going to find something to do with that, okay? But it's not going to just take you out, right? But the way that this virus has been spun to us, okay, it's very interesting. It's like some question has to be asked. Is this virus they're talking about, is it a deadly, dangerous, highly toxic virus? Or is it a virus that really is not that contagious? It's not that dangerous. What is it? Because the message is quite clear to me. It's two different messages that we're getting from the government, the government, from your doctors, from the scientists. Yeah, they're all saying different things in certain respects. They're saying different things, right? All right, so let me just play this, okay? Because I'm not a doctor, and you're probably thinking, oh, well, Sayshara, what do you know? What do you know, right? But I'm saying this, okay? That just because you're not a doctor, you're not a scientist or in the medical industry and stuff like that, don't think that you can't learn something. Simple things you can learn. You just got to start learning. You start learning something, and the more you learn, the more you develop an understanding. You might not understand everything, but you will develop a certain understanding based on the language that you're learning, or what you're reading, right? So don't be scared because it's mathematics. We're scared. I know a lot of people are scared of science. They're scared of physics. They're scared of biology and chemistry and mathematics and all these things because we're talking about complex formulas and complex solutions and, you know, calculations, and you got to work this out, and you got to use your head. You got to bust your head sometimes. And some people have a problem with that. Yes, Burchak.
I just sent you that text, secure at avowals.dot. So you click on the link and you can read it out maybe to the last bit of your show. Yeah, for the people. Yeah. All right then. Bye.
Thank you, Burchak. Peace, one. All right, so let me just play this 7 minutes clip, okay, and then it'll just give you a different perspective, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Listen to this. Hold on. Right, just completely turned it off, right, so let me just go again, all right.
People that have died so far since January 1st, 2020 from the seasonal flu is 110,823.
Okay, so let me just go back. Let me go back. All right.
This is infectious. This is
hold on.
It was discussed in 2015 that this should not be done. There were two main scientists that said this should not be done. The virus is not a naturally occurring phenomenon. This is very important, and I'm going to show you evidence of that. So you need to be aware of this stuff. You need to be aware of the agenda. Don't be paralyzed by fear, because this is part and parcel of their agenda. The number of people that have died so far since January 1st, 2020 from the seasonal flu is 110,823. 110,000 from the seasonal flu. This is infectious. This is contagious. This is something people catch. From communicable diseases, okay, these are diseases that can be transmitted from one individual to another individual. You're looking at 2,959,790. Now, this is just a hair under 3 million. This is again from January 1st, 2020 till today, which is early morning, March 24th. So you're talking about a cause of disease that people will catch from someone else, 16,758 that have died compared to 110,000, again, 110,000 from just the seasonal flu, and 2.9 million worldwide from any other type of communicable infectious disease process. This is the number died, this is the number that recovered, and most of these people, of the 102,000 that have recovered within 24 to 48 hours. It's been labeled as a bioweapon by some people, and of course the media, says that that's conspiracy theory, but let's look at the actual configuration of what this virus, what COVID-19 is. So the first thing is I want to say that this wasn't because people were eating bat soup, okay? Or transferred from snakes or sloths or whatever they said. The virus is not a naturally occurring phenomena. This is very important, and I'm going to show you evidence of that. Now, this virus was actually created at the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, and they published the highlights of the creation in November 2015.
All right, so let me stop there. If you heard that, 2015, you need to listen very carefully to what this doctor by the name of Rashid Butter is saying. His name is Rashid Butter. Listen to what he's saying.
List of scholars associated with this Frankenstein of a virus, you'll see, named Zheng Li Shi, who just happens to represent the key laboratory of special pathogens and biosafety, Wuhan Institute of Virology, Chinese Academy of Sciences, Wuhan, China. Now, Dr. Shi, she's a key figure here. In 2014, Dr. Shi was the recipient of a number of U.S. government grants, as well as grants from the National Basics Research Program of China, the Chinese Academy of Science, the National Natural Science Foundation of China, and from the Strategic Priority Research Program of Chinese Academy of Sciences to assist in funding research into coronaviruses. Now, this is, remember, 2015. The U.S. government paid Dr. Shi and the Chinese government to fund research into coronaviruses. This was...
Right, did you hear that? Right? The US government, this is 2015. What are we talking about? Right?
Published in November 12th, 2015. And this is actually the full article, the full research paper that was done. But what I want to do is I want to bring your attention to this March 2020 note that has been put there by the editors. And I want to read that first, then I'm going to go through the study, and then I want you to decide what this really means. So the editor's note before we start says, "We are aware that this story is being used as a basis of unverified theories that the novel coronavirus causing COVID-19 was engineered. There is no evidence that this is true. Scientists believe that an animal is the most likely source of the coronavirus." Now, it's obviously whoever wrote this, from the editor's note perspective, was either an idiot or doesn't understand the English language, but certainly wasn't a scientist, because I'm going to now show you what the study says. Remember, this is a warning now that they're putting here to dissuade people, to prevent them from actually looking at the science, to tell you that, look, the sky is not blue. Yeah, it looks blue to you, but it's not really blue. In November of 2015, an experiment that created a hybrid version of a bat coronavirus, one related to the virus that caused SARS, severe acute respiratory syndrome, as we discussed before, has triggered renewed debate over whether engineering lab variants of viruses with possible pandemic potential is worth the risk. This is the lead component, the first paragraph of this study that was published in Nature, probably one of the most respected journals in the world. So although almost all coronaviruses isolated from bats have not been able to bind to the key human receptor, which is this SHC014, which is the specific coronavirus we're talking about, was able to get into the human vector. So again, this is the study. This is what you're reading the blue, and they're saying whatever you see, it's not blue. Other experiments in the study show that the virus in the wild bats would need to evolve to pose any threat to humans. Okay, it would need to evolve, it would need to change, it would take time. A change that may never happen, although it cannot be ruled out. Barrick and his team reconstructed the wild virus, the naturally occurring form of the virus, from its genome sequence and found that it grew poorly in human cell cultures and caused no significant disease in mice. Okay, so here you're looking at a virus, it's found in bats, it's very difficult for it to jump to humans. Once in a human, it in human cell cultures, it just grew very poorly, and in the mouse model, it didn't cause any significant disease. All right. The only impact of this work is the creation in a lab of a new non-natural risk, agreed Richard Albright, a molecular biologist and biodefense expert at Rutgers University in Piscataway, New Jersey. Why would you take a bug, a virus, a bacteria, and make it more potent? Right? What's the purpose of that? Well, they say it's for research purposes. But why would you do research to make something more potent? We absolutely must resist government run amok taking advantage of a crisis. This is how your liberty dies. Stand up, America, and resist. Department of Justice seeks new emergency powers amid coronavirus pandemic. This is the issue. This is what we need to be afraid of, that they're going to use this false flag type of event, hype it up to take away more rights, more freedoms, and create mandatory actions that people have to do, from quarantine to even more sinister things that are coming down the pipeline. So you need to be aware of this stuff. You need to be aware of the agenda. All right? Don't be paralyzed by fear, because this is part and parcel of their agenda. The virus is a self-limiting virus. It seems to burn through. If your immune system is intact, it's not going to affect you. And if it does, it's going to be very, very transient. 24, 48 hours, most people get better.
Okay, there you have it. Right? So that you can get, and you can study it, because he's actually got a video. That is actually 7 minutes long, but his actual presentation is an hour, just over a little hour long, right? But that's giving you just a short insight into what we're talking about here, yeah? And like I said, if you go to Dr. Rashid Buttar, Buttar, and it was discussed in 2015 that should not be done. Okay, so that's the title. Dr. Rashid Buttar, it was discussed in 2015 that this should not be done. So in other words, the scientists were told that whatever they're doing to make these viruses more potent than they already are, or well, how can I put it? But they're manipulating the whole thing, isn't it? They're just manipulating this, bacteria or these different viruses, okay? And that's why you get these viruses. They just mutated. They mutate the viruses in the lab, okay, by manipulating them. All right, and just like I said, you just got to look at the science just to get a little understanding of what's that really all about. Yeah. Now, I hope you find that kind of interesting. There's lots more information I could really give you to back that up. All right, because there's other doctors that have a similar view around whether or not this virus is dangerous or not. Right? Now, there's no way that you can actually find out for yourself without actually researching yourself. You're not going to get anything from the government, departments, and those agencies that they have around them. So how would you know if your government's telling the truth and that what they're saying is validated information? In other words, that you can validate what they're saying. Because to me, who monitors the monitor? Do you know what I'm saying? Who regulates the regulator? Right? And I think that the way this whole system is set up is very, very one-sided. It's so one-sided. You've got one group of people, the governments and their agencies and departments all around them, saying one thing, telling everybody that you've got to follow everything that they say, bringing out the laws, you've got to follow the laws, you've got to obey, you've got to follow their commands and instructions, okay? And you just got to accept it, right? So we've got a lot of issues around the way governments are allowed to be able to do things. And I think, like I said, that there should be an independent, like, common law people. Like, you got the government versus the common law people. And like I said again, that if the government's going to do anything outlandish or outrageous or extreme, they can be challenged. Anything that's serious, that can affect the whole country, can affect the whole population, they should consult the common law people, at least give the opportunity to the common law people to be able to have these kind of discussions or conversations or dialogues around what the common law people think is best for them, rather than you've got a government dictating to you, right? And based on what information they're giving you. So what they're doing is changing the whole social fabric of how we used to live our lives, right? And that's going to be at a very, very expensive cost. The aftermath is going to be like this. Small businesses, I mean, how long do you think small businesses can... It doesn't matter how much money the government said they're going to give, because it's never going to be enough. It's not going to be sufficient, right? With their, economic stimulus emergency crisis package, right? That, you remember, people have built up businesses, okay? Small businesses and medium-sized businesses, those businesses are going to go, right? Because a lot of these businesses are running on a week-to-week basis or on a month-to-month basis. Some of them have started, it depends, right? But if they don't do business for more than 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks, and the longer it goes on, the harder it's going to come for those businesses to recover, right? They may never come, they may go back to the business and then that's going to shut their business down, because the amount of money it's going to cost to get their business back running up again is going to be such a high deficit that unless they get loans from the banks, then they're going to be able to do it, right? So, looking at the long-term projection, the money is not circulating right now. There's no money circulating right now. It's stagnant. So where we would, be sharing money around and all of this stuff, okay, that's not happening again, right? That's going to be a long-term effect. All these things are going to be like what you call consequences of this whole thing to do with this whole pandemic shutdown, right? We've got to look at how we need to self-adjust, self-adapt, self-restructure, and make fresh preparations, new preparations. We've got to think about our mental health and well-being, how we can maintain that to the highest optimum level. We've got to practice eating healthy, continue to do that, even under the circumstances, the way things are, with the way shopping is, how you shop. In fact, they were saying that there's an issue because of Brexit for the lorries, delivering the goods and the foods and the products, okay, that it's gonna slow down the traction of those foods being delivered based on supply and demand. Because at the moment, there's a lot of stores just empty right now. Okay, so let me see. I've got 10 minutes left, all right? So I was asking the question, what's the difference between a disease and a virus? And if you know what a disease is, or understand a little bit about what a disease is, okay? Generally, like I said, you work with the disease, you kind of manage it, or you try to alleviate from that disease, okay? But it's not something just going to just take you out just like that, generally speaking. I'm not saying that it can't happen, because it can, right? But I mean, more than likely, your doctor's going to diagnose you with some sort of condition, right? Or some sort of disease. And, it might take months, it might take years before anything happens to you, right? You may have to go through, different therapies. I don't agree with the different therapies or different diagnostics of dealing with those illnesses. Okay, maybe it's, maybe I don't think that's always appropriate. I think the natural way of doing things is always appropriate. And obviously, in an emergency situation, you have to deal with whatever you can, right? So I'm asking the question, is COVID-19 a deadly virus, or is it not a deadly virus? What is it? Because the government's giving that message, really. That's what the British government is saying. 1 minute they're saying, if you hear their actions and the things they're saying, yeah, it's a deadly disease, you can die from it. But at the same time, oh no, you can get it. You can get it and you can still recover. Right? So it can't be a deadly disease. If you get it, not disease, virus. It can't be a deadly virus if you get it, right? And you can recover. That don't really make sense. But then they're saying that obviously your immune system, if you calculate your immune system and how your immune system is and your age and all this stuff, okay, then you're more vulnerable. This is what they're saying. But to me, if it's a deadly virus, it's not going to pick and choose what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to look for characteristics. Oh, you're old, you're this and you're that. It's a virus. If it's a deadly virus, it's just deadly, isn't it? It's going to kill you. Right? Almost immediately or within a day or two or a couple of days or a week or something like that. Right? So why are the government putting in extreme measures, and are they justified? Are you satisfied that the government is justifying its case why it thinks that it needs to lock down and create this social and economic what you could call cascading effects? So you got the World Health Organization who seem to be the gods on the planet Earth when it comes to making these decisions. You know, you ask the question, who are the who? Who are who? Who are the who? And who is the UN? Because the World Health Organization is a subsidiary working under the auspices of the United Nations. Right? So they don't work independently. They give you the impression that they work independently, but they don't. Right? And this government, I know this government's been putting money into the United Nations for the emergency crisis fund. I think some countries have to put money in towards it. Yeah. So what are the criterias, the possible criteria that people are concerned about that's being said out there, right? And asking the question is how contagious is this virus, right? Is it about numbers? Because I noticed that they're all about quotas. How many people they can test. I remember I said I was going to talk about the testing equipment, but I haven't had time, right? But the National Health Service is talking about how many people they can test every day. Under the World Health Organization, all across the globe, right? The World Health, they're very organized, okay? They're very, very well organized. And let me see what I can tell you, for example. Let me see if I can give you an example of what we're talking about. Let me see, emergencies prepared. What does that, see what's that about? So you got, this is the World Health Organization website, emergency preparedness response, okay? This is from 2000. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I cannot go through this list, right? This is just in 1 year. The amount of what you can say, I don't know if you're going to call them outbreaks or, diseases. Look, this is 2000, December, cholera, yellow fever, Ebola. This is all through the year, right? Ebola, cholera, Rift Valley fever, whatever that is. cholera, right? Acute hemorrhage fever syndrome, leptospirosis. Yeah. So basically, there's a lot of stuff going on all around the world. Look, France, Canada, West Nile fever, imported case. So this is, I don't know how many things, how many reported cases there. This just goes on and on. It's just too long for me to even go through. Seriously, right? But you see the NHS is talking about how many tests they need to put out for people. It's talking about this test equipment, the test kit. I think I've got some information about the test kit. They're saying, let me see if I can find it. They're calling every case of influenza and flu death COVID-19. Influenza project sweeping. Right, okay. I don't know what I've done with that. But anyway, they got the test kits out there. And there's some issues around it anyway. There's some issues around it. Okay, you need to look for yourself and see whether or not these test kits are appropriate or they're adequate or they're efficient or they're accurate, right? And then all at the same time, this country is supposed to be making their own kits. Every country is supposed to make their own kit. They're supposed to be able to be equipped to make their own kits if they need to in an emergency, right? But this country is having to get it from across the waters. So this shows you where we're at. Okay. Now, I've got just 60 seconds and I'm going to be out of it. Less than that, all right? So what I'm going to say for now is, yeah, just keep it locked in and tuned in to Brother Freestyle. He's going to be coming in and he's going to be able to engage with you, get you to come and participate in the conversation or talk. Please do join in anytime. In a few minutes, you're going to hear another beautiful voice, a beloved brother, Freestyle. All right, so next time, same place here. Sayshara, I'm out of here. In about 20 seconds, I'll be out of here. You know what I'm saying? I've got to look at the clock, innit? You know? So, yeah, I want to say thank you all for keeping it locked in and tuned in. Yeah? Keep safe, keep happy, keep healthy.